Welcome to Solent Soccer Special. We have a busy night ahead of us with the Champions League, Football League and non-league games all taking place tonight. We'll have updates from around the grounds as our studio panel of Regan Valet and George Hotcraft will be keeping us up to date with the going-ons in the Dortmund and Madrid games. And Joe Selwood has the latest from Fratton Park as Portsmouth and Exeter battle it out for the chance to play at Wembley. We will get all previews from all the games, but with our reporters that are around the grounds. Jack Sale is at Oxford United vs AFC Wimbledon, and we'll get an update shortly. We have, as I've mentioned, Joe Selwood, Pompey Exeter, and we have Jack Mayo at Havant and Waterlooville vs Southampton's under-23s in the Hampshire Senior Cup quarter-finals. They play at AFC Tottenham's Snow Stadium. So, first of all, we'll get the thoughts of Regan and George quickly before we get on to our English games to kick off at 7:45. George, you got Liverpool Atletico Madrid excited for the game today?
Yeah, obviously, Atletico Madrid, one of the best teams in Spain, have been to a final, twice in the last five to 6 years. Liverpool, probably arguably the best team in the world at the moment. And to be fair, I can't really see many teams stopping them, including Atletico. The return of Costa on the bench, Liverpool are used to playing up against him. I'll be excited to see when he comes on, or if Atletico can punish them with Morata and anyone else that can puck up with the goals. But Liverpool just seem far too strong.
It certainly should be an interesting night of football. And Regan, you have the pleasure of watching Borussia Dortmund versus PSG. Quick thoughts before we get into our English games?
I'm expecting a lot of goals today. We've got two extremely high-scoring teams, and the big news coming into the game is that Neymar, PSG, their world's most expensive footballer, he's been injured recently through rib problems. He starts tonight alongside Kylian Mbappe, who didn't play in the last game either, against Amiens in that 4-4 draw. Dortmund also winning 4-0 against Eintracht Frankfurt the last game, so you'd expect goals, 8 goals between them in their last games each, but you never know. This is the Champions League.
It certainly is the Champions League. It can get very tasty indeed. As I said, we have Jack Sale, who is on the road. He is at the Kassam Stadium for Oxford United vs AFC Wimbledon. Oxford comfortably 11th in the League One, pushing for a playoff place, whereas Wimbledon are at the other side of the table. We're going to cut over to Jack now, and he's going to give us his preview of the game.
AFC Wimbledon arrive at the Kassam Stadium this evening, 7 points clear of the relegation zone, and will look to put more distance between themselves and the bottom three. It won't be easy though. They have won just 2 out of their last 18 away games stretching back to last season, although a last-minute equaliser ensured they picked up a point at league leaders Rotherham at the weekend. The feeling around Oxford United is that this is a must-win game if they have any aspirations on breaking into the playoffs come the end of the season. United started January in second place, but are now 11th, having won just once in 2020, and must change their fortunes fast. They'll be hoping that starts tonight against the Wombles. Team news then, Oxford make 2 changes from the side that lost 1-0 to Sunderland here on Saturday. John Messinho is injured while Dan Adji drops to the bench. Marcus Brown and Nathan Holland come in as United change shape. Wimbledon will give Rotherham loanee Julian Lamy a debut as they make 4 changes.
Thanks, Jack. We will be back with more from him when the goals start flying in there, I am sure. Oxford United, that is a big game for them, obviously. They will want to get into the playoff mix, and AFC Wimbledon, like I said, struggling with relegation. That could see the end of Oxford's playoff chase if Wimbledon do beat them there after they come off the back with a 2-2 draw with Rotherham United on the weekend. We also have Jack Sale, who is at the Havant and Waterlooville vs Southampton under-23s. Jack Mayo, sorry. Jack Sale was at the Oxford game. We have Jack Mayo at the Havant vs Saints under-23s game. It's a Hampshire Senior Cup quarter-final being played at the Snow Stadium in Totton, and he has the preview for us there.
I'm here covering the Hampshire Cup quarter-final match between Southampton and Havant and Waterlooville. Havant are of course the current holders of this cup and have been unbeaten in the last 5, but 4 of them have been draws. They look to keep the winning run going tonight. As for Southampton, they've been struggling under caretaker manager David Horseman. They haven't put a strong side out tonight, but they come here with a point to prove. Let's see how they all get on.
That was Jack Mayo, and he'll be back with more, as always, as all our reporters will be when the goals start flying in. We have people around the grounds, all the way from AFC Stoneham to Oxford United in League One. We are covering all bases this week, and also we have Joe Selwood, who is in the studio with us, but he has his thoughts on the Portsmouth vs Exeter game that is being played at Fratton Park. They both have a chance to get to Wembley, Joe.
Yeah, they do. So it's the EFL Trophy semi-final. It's the first one. Portsmouth, obviously, the holders won it last year, taking Exeter. Pompey have got a strong starting lineup. Not only 2 changes from last week. Exeter have put a bit of a mix here. There's some youth players and some starting lineup, first 11 players as well. But they were both coming off good form. Obviously, Portsmouth have rocketed up the table recently. They're 6th now. Exeter are just behind Swindon in League One on goal difference now. So it should be quite an interesting game. But obviously, Portsmouth should be looking like they'll be going in for the next final.
They sure will. They have been there before, obviously. Beat Sunderland in the final before. But Portsmouth may be wanting to concentrate on a League One promotion. So you don't know how they might take it. I'm sure they'll obviously want to get to Wembley, as everyone else who wants the chance to get to Wembley. And like I said, we will bring you the goals from around the grounds when they come flying in. The English game's kicking off in about 9 minutes from now. But in the studio, we're going to concentrate on the 2 massive games that are going on now. Regan and George. Regan, we'll get with you. Dortmund versus Paris Saint-Germain. Just thoughts, how are you seeing this game going? Anything you want to add to what you have said previously?
Nothing really to add. I just want to emphasise the fact that even though this is the Champions League, anything goes. You expect amounts of goals from this game. You look at PSG; they're unbeaten since I think November 9th when they last lost 2-1 to Dijon. That's just a whole 98 days ago. You expect them to score. You've got Neymar back. You've got Mbappe. You've got Di Maria on the bench. You've got Icardi. You've got all those lethal goal scorers. You expect that to produce goals, but against a Dortmund side, they could tap their own way. They got Haaland, the new signing, 8 in his last 6, the Champions League, second top scorer, 9 in 6 in the Bundesliga, player of the month just now. You expect him to score, but we'll soon find out.
And how do you expect Dortmund and Paris Saint-Germain to take this competition? Do you think it's priority for both sides? I mean, you'd expect PSG, but maybe Borussia Dortmund. Do you think they will prioritise this or the Bundesliga maybe?
Well, like you said, I definitely expect PSG. I mean, they're no Liverpool. They're only 10 points clear at the top of Ligue 1. But Dortmund, they're 3rd at the moment. It's very close, and it's very close in the top, even in the top 5 in the Bundesliga. They're 3rd at the moment, and they're 5 off the top Bayern Munich. I'd expect them to try and challenge more for the Bundesliga over the Champions League. But I feel like PSG, they'll focus more on this competition, but I don't expect them to not give them their all, but I expect 100% from each team here.
Yeah. And George, you are covering the Liverpool versus Atletico Madrid game, obviously. Let's talk about Jurgen Klopp. Obviously, Liverpool won the Champions League last time out, and a lot of people, obviously Liverpool fans, do claim to obviously want the Premier League more than the Champions League now, although they are so synonymous with that Champions League competition, having won it 6 times. Do you think because of how far Liverpool are ahead in league now that they will still concentrate heavily on this competition?
Yeah, I think Liverpool are that strong that they could probably go into their league games resting players for the Champions League. They're that far ahead. I don't think anyone can sit there and say Man City or Leicester could even catch them. It mathematically could be possible in a few games, isn't it, for Liverpool? And, I just see them going for that treble. I mean, they'll want to surpass Manchester United, of course. They'll like me saying that. Man United's treble in '99. If they could maybe win the Premier League and Champions League, and then obviously unbeaten in the Premier League, as long as maybe the FA Cup, or they're on course for a very, very strong season, possibly the greatest we've ever seen in English football. But obviously going into the Champions League, they don't have a very good record in Spain, funnily enough. They won't like me saying this, but they are winless in their last 5 in Spain against Spanish opposition, losing 4, drawing 1. But obviously, last time they've been to the Metropolitano, they did in fact beat Spurs in the final of the Champions League, which does pay me to say that. But I think they're on course for a very strong season with Jurgen Klopp.
And yes, obviously the Champions League is going to be the main thing for everyone's European football's back. We have a big break over winter, obviously. But let's get into something the lower down the footballing period here in England. We have Luke Robinson and Ethan Evans and the team over at Stoneham, and they have the latest from there.
Yes, up top of the table had an unfortunate loss to their league rivals 3-1 last time they played, but they take on Bashri now, who are in 9th place. Stoneham have a few games on hand on their rivals tonight, but have a lot of momentum going into the game.
Yes, and how do you see the game going there? Is there a big bumper crowd, or is it a cold Tuesday night?
Well, it is a cold Tuesday night, but it's a fair turnout considering AFC Stoneham riding high at the top of the league, 1 point clear. I can see this game going to them, but Bashley, they're no easy team to beat.
Yeah, I completely agree. And Luke, we'll have more with you later, okay? Obviously, back onto around the grounds and stuff. Obviously, the main talking point here in the studio is the Champions League. Let's discuss Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool once again. Jurgen Klopp, he has come out with his discussion on the winter break, and we all know he enjoyed that winter break. Do you think that's going to have suited his Liverpool team and helped them against European competition? And European competition, obviously, you'll often have winter breaks. Do you think that'll help English sides match them in Europe now?
Yeah, well, then you got to think last year in the semi-final of the Champions League, there was also Liverpool, Tottenham, and obviously Manchester City also went far in the competition. So you've got to say maybe the winter break doesn't really affect the English sides. Both Tottenham and Liverpool got to the final against top European opposition. But yeah, of course, the winter break's going to help. It gives them fresh legs going into a game like this, and for the foreseeable future of the Premier League and the potential treble that they could win.
And now we have we'll go to Liverpool and their success so far in the competition and the Premier League in recent years.
Liverpool returned to the Wanda Metropolitano, where they lifted Europe's biggest prize just 8 months ago. However, this time in the round of 16 they faced three-time finalists Atletico Madrid, who have been struggling as of late in the La Liga. Manager Jurgen Klopp knows how much of a test the Spanish Giants will be.
Atletico, I would say, playing Atletico is one of the most difficult things in the life of a football player. Really good organized, a result machine, squeezing results pretty much out of each game if possible. Yes, people will tell me and told me already this year it's not exactly like what, but it's a transition period, that's normal. But still, fighting with all you have, don't get a lot of chances and all that stuff, so that's just really difficult. So
the current Premier League leaders are on course to win their first division title in 30 years, having not been this close since 2014. The Reds have suffered in many attempts to win the league title, but now have the chance to complete an unbeaten treble.
Murray, chance here, Dale, 3-3! And Dwight Gale, they just have blown Liverpool right out of the title picture. Oh, and Gerrard slipped, and Denver Barr's in here. Out comes Mignolet, but Barr punishes of all people, Steven Gerrard.
Since Klopp's arrival in 2015, however, Liverpool have become the world beaters they were when they achieved European glory in Istanbul 2005, and could match their 1977-78 squad while winning back-to-back Champions Leagues. The Merseyside team returned to the pinnacle last season after defeating Premier League rivals Tottenham Hotspur 2-0 in Madrid.
Vertonghen's arm was raised in there, Origi with a chance, and surely that wins it for Liverpool!
Liverpool have become such a force that Britain's biggest pundits think that the back-to-back is more than possible.
They've been on the cusp of winning for a couple of years, but they got over that line. They've won the big one, the Champions League. They look like they're going to win the Premier League as well now. I think they've just got a mentality now that we're not going to lose. Before a ball's even kicked, we're not going to lose this game, we're going to win.
Liverpool continue their treble journey tonight with live updates on Solent Soccer Special when they face Atletico Madrid. This is George Hopcraft reporting for Solent Sports News.
An obviously very important night for Liverpool Football Club, but there is Champions League football elsewhere, as we have mentioned. Signal Iduna Park, German versus French teams, Dortmund versus PSG. Regan, Dortmund obviously have a new star man playing up top, Haaland. He's been scoring lots of goals recently. How could you see him affecting the tie? Do you think it'd be a big boost to them compared to maybe their side looked over maybe a couple of months ago?
I'd say so, definitely. The fact that you're talking about the quality that that Dortmund have, that when you say that their star man up front, it could be a variety of those players now, especially with Jadon Sancho and the performing the way he is. But Haaland, I could see him perform really well. He's started brilliantly so far for Dortmund. But I'd say what differs for me is that the exclusion of Marco Reus. He's out in he's the club captain. You expect him to make a big impact. It's a shame that he won't be there. He's out with a leg injury, a leg muscle injury. But I could definitely see Haaland maybe not score as such, because obviously I don't expect, and surely no one expects him to continue this amazing run of form for a long period of time. But I can definitely see him have an impact on the PSG backline, get him behind, force a few saves out of Keylor Navas. But it's with the link with Jadon Sancho and Thorgan Hazard, who's also starting tonight. I can definitely see him cause a lot of issues.
Yep, and we've been investigating the impact of Erling Haaland on the Borussia Dortmund side.
Erling Haaland is just blowing the Bundesliga away. The first player to score 7 in his first 3 Bundesliga games.
Borussia Dortmund striker Erling Haaland has been tearing up the Bundesliga by scoring 8 goals in his first 5 games. The 19-year-old wonderkid is set to make his Champions League debut against Paris Saint-Germain tonight. He managed to score 3 goals in only 34 minutes during his Bundesliga debut for the Germans, something he will likely be happy to repeat tonight.
That substitution we've all been waiting for. That Erling Haaland takes his place on the field. Now let's see what the young man has got. Sancho. Oh, it's a good pass from Sancho. Oh, and it's an excellent finish from the substitute. Erling Haaland with only his, third touch of the game. His first shot on goal.
It only took the substitute 3 minutes to produce his first Dortmund goal, but the Norwegian wasn't done there.
Oh, long ball, and they're all onside. Flagger stay down. This is Hazard. Torgan Hazard looks up. There's Haaland. It's a brace for the Norwegian. Haaland has made it 4-3, and Dortmund are in front for the first time in this game. What an impact he's had. Now, Haaland's long legs. He's on his own. He's on his own. He's on his own hat-trick. Oh, what a debut for Erling Haaland. They wanted to see him. They wanted to see what he's got. Well, he's got a hat-trick on his debut. That's what he has.
It will be interesting to see if Haaland can produce another wonder debut tonight. The Parisian defenders will surely be keeping a close eye on the goal machine.
And Borussia Dortmund will be kicking off their knockout Champions League campaign at 8 o'clock. And Regan has that covered. Around the grounds, the English games here at 7:45 have started to kick off, and we have an early goal as Harrogate Town have taken the lead at Barnet. They are 1-0 up in the National League. And Joe, you have the early exchanges of the Portsmouth vs Exeter game.
So game kicked off about 2 minutes, just under 2 minutes ago. Not much to happen of note. Portsmouth have been on the attack, but have also been snuffled out by the Exeter defenders. It's again happened now. Exeter have cleared the ball at the field, but in the 2 minutes so far, Portsmouth has started the better side.
And what's the attendance looking like there? Is it a packed out? Is it a packed out Fratton Park looking forward to Wembley, or we know that competition has had boycotting in the past? What's it looking like?
The Fratton end is packed, and then the other stands are looking very well populated as well, so it's not too bad. Looking very good actually.
That's all poised for a good cup tie. That one at Fratton Park, obviously, a very lively stadium, and the Exeter fans, I'm sure, will be hoping they can get back to Wembley after their last encounter there against Blackpool in the playoff final. And we are around the grounds now. All the games have kicked off. We will bring you the goals as they come. At the moment, obviously, the first goal of the day, Harrogate Town have scored at Barnet at the Hive. Harrogate will be hoping they can get back on track for to rise up the National League. Like they had a very good campaign last season, whereas Barnet will also be wanting to get back in the Football League because it could be too long before they come back. We'll get back onto the Champions League, guys, and we'll bring you, as I said, the goals as they come. Regan, Neymar is a big talking point at the Paris Saint-Germain game. How much of an impact do you reckon he could have on the ties?
It could be massive. You think about Neymar and you think that the creative flair that he brings to any team he comes with, and he's had a few weeks off. He's had a rib injury, and now he's setting to start. We have this is Neymar's first First, actually, it's only his second game, PSG in the last 32 at the moment. So we have previous history with Neymar and injury problems. We expect him to. We don't know. We haven't really seen him in this stage of the competition so far, but I expect him to do well. I expect him to lead that attacking line and create runs for Mbappe in behind.
And obviously Mbappe is that other man who's in the front three. He has had a brilliant start season, and once there's been a goal at Oxford City, they have taken the lead 1-0 against Dorking Wanderers. That is a big game in the National League South there. Oxford have taken the lead against Dorking Wanderers. We will give you more when we know who the goal scorer is. And Southampton under 23s have taken the lead against Havant and Waterlooville in that Hampshire Senior Cup quarter final. We will have more and get an update on that goal when we have it. But Regan, carrying on with the Champions League, Kylian Mbappe is another man in that front three. That front three is so deadly, and Borussia Dortmund do ship a lot of goals, so could be a bigger impact on the tie, that one as well, can't it? It's not just Neymar.
Yeah, definitely, especially with I believe Borussia Dortmund are going with a back three at the moment. I'm not sure if they're trying to man mark each of the attacking front three for PSG or not, but you think of world class. Like just not even strike partnerships, just the whole strike form. It's PSG, it's Neymar, it's Mbappe, it's Di Maria who's having a wonderful season. It's Icardi on the bench who can come off and score a lot of goals. It's Draxler who can sometimes score a lot of goals. It's when you think of PSG, it's goals, and you expect that tonight as well.
Regan, do you not think that maybe Neymar was, I wouldn't say career wasted, but do you think it was a wrong move to go to PSG? Considering, he won the Champions League at Barcelona, he's playing with Messi and Suarez, and all of a sudden he's now gone to PSG, and you've got to say they haven't hit the expectations in Europe that we all sort of thought they would with that front three.
I feel like at the time it was the right move to go away from PSG, to go away from Barcelona, sorry, because that's when Neymar, you would say he was coming to his prime there at Barcelona, and then you could see that Messi was still controlling the club, and I feel like it was a right move to him to try and make his name elsewhere, but I don't feel like a team like PSG would be the right fit for that. You have teams like, even if, it wouldn't even suit him to go to Real Madrid or something, maybe a Liverpool, Manchester City, a competitive league to really show his potential and show his class, but to PSG where it's only just basically them in the league, you can't really tell.
Right, I'm going to have to interrupt you, lads. We have Jack Mayo who is updating us, and I believe Southampton under 23s have just gone 2-0 up against Havant and Waterlooville. Jack?
Yeah, there's 2 goals here at the Snow Stadium, Bill. They've been dominant from the first kick of the ball, Bill. Cornelius Hansen cuts inside and bends it in the bottom corner 2 minutes in, and then 2 minutes later, Caleb Watts comes in, follows him from a rebound, and it's 2-0. They've been dominant from first kick, Bill, and they don't look like they're going to be stopped.
And do you think Havant and Waterlooville have a chance of getting back into this, or do they look like they may have lost fight in these early stages already?
Looked like a good chance then. A cross came in, but it's been gathered by the keeper. But they haven't given it a good go as well. It's quite a close game, Bill.
Thanks, Jack. We'll have more with Jack Mayo later. He is obviously Southampton 2, Havant and Waterlooville 0. Southampton's under 23 side, of course, in that Hampshire Senior Cup tie. Going back to the Champions League, guys. Oh, just before I do that, Oxford City scorer, there it is. Zach McEachran was the one who opened the scoring for Oxford City against Dorking Wanderers. That is 1-0 in that tie. Going back to you guys, you were just discussing Neymar's situation at Paris Saint-Germain. Carry on, guys.
I was going to link back because obviously Regan says, maybe could have gone to Man City, Liverpool. Going on to Liverpool, do you think maybe Liverpool could they're that good now, they're that dominant, they could do with a signing like, Mbappe or someone like Neymar's calibre, do you think?
I wouldn't say that they could do with it, because obviously it's evident to see that they're dominant without that attacking asset. But would it be a good move for players like Mbappe and Neymar to go to a highly competitive league?
Well, I mean, with Mbappe's situation, he's won the World Cup, he's won everything in France. It's just really the Champions League for him now, and we'll see tonight whether PSG have what it takes against a good Dortmund side. But will Mbappe leave? Will he move on to a better club, a club that's probably more competitive on a European scale? Liverpool being one of them, I think. I think Liverpool would I think he'd sway his head if Liverpool were to come in for him, or any other club. Maybe not Man City now after the news we found out, but Barcelona, Real Madrid, of course, could definitely sway his head.
And obviously, remember, there isn't just Champions League football on. Obviously, we're going to get an update in with Joe now. Joe, how's the Portsmouth-Exeter game looking in the opening 10 minutes?
Yeah, it's good. Portsmouth have still, like I said, been the better side. Ellis Harrison's just missed an excellent opportunity. The ball's come in and he's just mishit it. Then it's gone out for a corner, which they've then wasted. He's just taken the goal kick. But yeah, of the 8 minutes so far, Pompey definitely been the better side. Harrison will be kicking himself. He should have definitely put that in the back of the net.
And Portsmouth, obviously, they don't want to give up a chance to Wembley. They'll have to make sure that early pressure counts. Guys, how is the scene setting at your games? Regan, Signal Iduna Park, I'm sure it's starting to get ready for kick-off. Is the atmosphere thriving there?
Yeah, it certainly is. The players are just emerging from the tunnel. They're getting sorted in the tunnel. It looks, well, you think of Borussia Dortmund, you think of the Signal Iduna Park. The atmosphere is always an excellent one there, and it's no different tonight. You have all the Borussia fans on the so-called yellow wall really showing themselves here. Yeah, the players are getting ready to emerge, and just under 5 minutes to kick off now.
Excited to see Champions League football back, Regan. We know you are a big advocate of the European game.
Yeah, definitely. Very happy to have it back. Let's get it on.
And George, what's it looking like in Madrid at the moment?
I've just caught Diego Costa going down the tunnel, and it's fair to say he looks ready to come off that bench. I mean, we all know what he thinks. He's been up against Premier League sides before, and I will be excited to see him make an entrance in potentially the second half, you'd think. But yeah, no, it's building up in the tunnel. Liverpool yet to come out, but a lot of flags, a lot of scarves. Yeah, it's looking promising.
Obviously just 3 minutes to go in that game, but a game that is already underway is at Oxford City. Oxford City are 1-0 up against Dorking Wanderers, and Wes has more for us. Wes?
Yes, good evening here from Oxford City Court Place Farm. Oxford City, the home side, are 1-0 up after 4 minutes. Zach McEachran scoring that one for the home side. Unfortunately, can't tell you quite how it went to, so I'm trying to find a suitable spot. But Oxford City 1-0 up here against Dorking.
Thanks, Wes, and we'll have more with him as the goals fly in there. And a good start to that game, it sounds like, and it sounds like a bit of a confusion over what happened with that goal as well. We're just 2.5 minutes until the Champions League ties kick off. There's not many goals so far. It's been a slow start to the day. We only have Harrogate winning 1-0 at Barnet LC, and Wes obviously telling us about the Oxford goal, and obviously Jack saying the two goals at AFC Tottenham. The Champions League. The teams are starting. Are the teams starting to come out yet, guys? Teams starting to come out.
They are. Yeah, my game. They're coming out now. I think they're already on the pitch at the Iduna Park, from what I can see here.
They most definitely are.
Yeah, I can just see Neymar's pretty little face there. But yeah, no, Liverpool, Atletico Madrid are coming out now, and it looks to be a very, very good contest.
What do you think Diego Simeone be saying to his side right now? Or just said?
Well, we know what Simeone's Atletico are like. Very defensive, they grind out results, like Klopp said in his press conference, and I think Liverpool will be wary of that. The back four slightly different to what it was when they won, where they got into the Champions League final for 2 years running. The loss of Godin. They've now got Vasalco, Savic, Felipe, and Lodi. I mean, it's slightly different from Juan Fran, Godin, Jimenez, who I think is injured. I think he might be on the bench. That's poor punditry from me, obviously, but it's looking like a different back four for Atletico than it has been in recent years. But I fancy Liverpool for this one, though.
And what do you think Klopp would have said to his side? Do you think it'd been a completely different talk?
I think it would be a matter of keep it the same. I mean, why change a winning formula? It's not changed all season for however many games they're unbeaten now. But European football, it's a different scale, and Atletico will give him a very good game, but I think it'll be low scoring.
And Regan at Signal Iduna Park, Thomas Tuchel going back to Dortmund. What do you think he would have said to his Paris Saint-Germain side? But obviously, both sides are very free scoring. A pretty different encounter to what is going on in Madrid. What do you think Tuchel would have said?
I'd definitely say he should expect his team to face a completely different challenge to what they've been facing recently. Obviously, the 4-4 draw against Amiens is you could call it a fluke as such, because they've been so dominant in games, and to go 3-0 down, especially at one point, is is definitely surprising. But I would say that just keep, because they're they're undefeated since mid-November. They should definitely try and keep that shape, because during that time they drew with Real Madrid and they beat Galatasaray in the group stage. Their period is that long, but I think if they stay where it is, they've got Marquinhos in at CDM this time, so they can add they can force him back to defend, they can push him up to attack if they want, and that attacking three, I'd just say just get it to those attacking three, and then just let the magic happen. They're more than capable of scoring those goals, and I expect them to.
And there's been a goal at Maidstone United. They have gone 1-0 down to Bath City. Maidstone have scored... sorry, not Maidstone United. That has Maidenhead United. Easily mistaken. Yeah, Bath City have scored 1-0 at Maidstone. We will give you more when we know it, of who the scorer is in that game. And, speaking of Champions League, just as a team before the teams... are the teams walking out now? Have we got teams walking out?
They're now on the pitch. Bill, I can confirm that. Yeah, it's just the lineups coming up now, and atmosphere really is building here at the Metropolitano.
And obviously, Storm Dennis has had a big impact on today's football. That might be why it's quite a slow starter. There's lots of non-league games have been called off with reporters who have a lot of wet reporters out there who don't actually have a game to watch anymore. But one game that Storms did call off was Manchester City versus West Ham United in the Premier League. They replayed their game tomorrow. Obviously, with the Champions League, Manchester City could be facing a ban from the competition. Regan, George, they are going to be missing nights like this, aren't they?
Yeah, certainly. Whether they appeal for that, which I'm sure they will, surely they'd probably at least be given a one-season ban. Really does open up the Premier League, in fact. But I've just been distracted by Diego Costa already shouting at his teammates from the bench. But his kickoff has just happened.
And we can confirm in that game between Maidstone and Bath City that Frankie Artus was the score on the 16th minute, giving Bath City that 1-0 lead. Regan, your view on the Manchester City scenario?
I'd say it's very disappointing from a Man City point of view. You'd still class them as one of the best in Europe, and to think that from their fans and European fans' point of view that you won't see a team that dominant go to their stadiums in the Champions League group stage, it's definitely a shock. But will the appeal get overturned? I'm not so sure, but only time will tell. It'll be a big loss though, that's for sure, if they do get banned. And
a competition that Pep Guardiola is loves so much. We know that he won it at Barcelona, but he failed to win it at Bayern Munich. He has failed to win it at Manchester City so far. And maybe do you think that chance being taken away from him to win this competition could mean that he leaves Manchester City, or do you think he would stay?
I'm not sure, because you think of Pep Guardiola, you think of a serial winner. He wants to win everything, and to have that the greatest competition in Europe, he's not even be able to compete in it. He'll take away that edge that you have with Guardiola. You think of Champions League winners, you think of Pep Guardiola. That's just how it is. So I'm not sure. I don't think if he does leave, I wouldn't be too surprised. But I would say fans would be disappointed, and I'd expect him to leave. But it's just a matter of where.
And a competitor that Pep Guardiola had so often went from his time, Diego Simeone in Atletico Madrid. How is that game starting, George? Liverpool start on the front foot, or is it Atletico?
It's been a bit scrappy. Liverpool have had a little bit of a few first touches, but I think we can see from the outset that Simeone's gone for a very rough approach to really ruffle them up, Liverpool, because you've got to say Liverpool, when they go into these games, they do look very comfortable at the back. But Atletico, I think Simeone knows what he wants his team to do, and from 2 minutes in we can see that he is ready to rough them up.
And Regan, a fast or a slow start at Signal Iduna Park?
Definitely a fast approach. Sorry, I couldn't get my words out because I'm so enthralled in this game right now. It's very end to end. We've got a lot of aerial battles going on, which Borussia Dortmund seem to be winning. The PSG defence is very, very physical, and you expect them to put in a few crunching tackles. But what I've seen in the early stages when PSG try to attack, it's the French centre back for Dortmund. It's Zagadou. He's very tall and he's very strong, and he's definitely trying to. He's trying to, and he is actually succeeding in stopping the PSG attackers from getting in behind.
Zagadou.
There was a good chance there, Bill.
There's a good chance in Atletico Madrid's game.
Yeah, there's a great cross from Lodi. I think he's whipped it in. He's got past Robertson and he's whipped it into Morata. and Morata, I think he missed it, but the header's, it's gone wide, but up for a throw. But it's a great cross from Lodi there, and Liverpool look under the cosh.
Looks like Madrid are dominating the earlier stages there. Joe, we'll go to you in leasing.com trophy. Portsmouth versus Exeter. What's it looking like now?
Still Pompey in charge. I think obviously the chances about Harrison earlier is probably the best chance. Ronan Curtis had a good one as well. It was well over the bar though. Probably settling down a bit more, but Portsmouth is still definitely the better side. Still 0-0 though.
Still 0-0 there. And anything?
And there's been a goal. There's been a goal. Let's go.
Talk us through it, George.
I think it's a corner, and it's not been dealt with by Liverpool, and it's just dropped to Sal. Sal in the 6-yard box, and he's tapped in. And Atletico have taken the lead here, in the first 5 minutes against Liverpool. And when do we ever see that?
Yeah, that's going to be a long way back for Liverpool, especially with Diego Simeone sides often being a rough and tumble approach, and they're often very good at defending.
Yeah, Jurgen Klopp does not look happy with his side there. I mean, Liverpool is so defensively strong. And it's literally, I think it's come off Fabinho and it's rolled into Sal's path. And obviously, I don't think that would be called for offside because it's come off Fabinho. But Sal's there to tap in, and it's 1-0 to Atletico.
Liverpool's poor record in Spain could be continuing. Atletico Madrid 1-0 up there against English league leaders Liverpool. Regan, not quite as fast a start, clearly, obviously in Germany, but how's it going there?
I did think it was a fast start. Obviously, not as fast as what's going on over there. But what I've realised in the early stages is Dortmund are really trying to use their pace to get behind the PSG defence. We got Sancho and Haaland, as well as Thorgan Hazard, extremely fast getting in, and they're causing a lot of issues.
Yeah, there's a goal check here, Bill, at the Metropolitano. Goal check for VAR.
Yeah. Oh, it's gone to VAR.
And I think it has been counted. It is still a goal.
Still a goal.
Check is over.
Okay.
The referee's done his hand signals and play resumes.
What do you know? What that check was for?
I think it might have been for potential offside. But then, like I said to you, for me it looked like it just come off Fabinho and rolled into Sal's pass.
It came off Madrid player.
Joe checking over George's shoulder there today. Clearly Fratton Park isn't entertaining him too much. And speaking of English sides in Europe, Tottenham, as we talk about Europe, Tottenham Hotspur have Red Bull Leipzig tomorrow and Atalanta versus Valencia, but obviously we are interested in Tottenham. Thoughts on how that game may go? Liverpool clearly struggling at the moment. How do you think the English sides are going to do in this in round of 16 round?
I mean, it's very hard to call. It's very early on in this Liverpool game. I think we all know Liverpool will have chances in this game, but with Tottenham, the news of Son's injury today, it does make you think, where the goal's going to come from now. It's going to be difficult for Spurs up against Leipzig, who've had a good season this season in the Bundesliga. But I don't know what you think about that, Regan.
It's definitely going to be an interesting tie, because you think of Spurs, you wouldn't say their defence is as solid as it was, especially last season, and you think of Leipzig, and they've arguably got one of the best strikers in the world right now, Timo Werner, leading the line. It'll be interesting to see how he fares against the likes of Vertonghen and etc. Because the Vertonghen Alderweireld, they're very physical, and Timo Werner uses his pace to get in behind. So it's going to be very interesting to see just how they count each other out.
And what about Atalanta versus chance at
there was
Madrid?
Another chance there for Atletico. They've made a really strong start here. I think it was a through ball from Koke into Correa. And is it a cross or is it a shot? Let me just check that for you. It's a great run off the shoulder of Van Dijk, funnily enough. Right in behind the back line. He's looked for a cross. Yeah, Morata's not there. It's just slid along the 6-yard line, and Liverpool are looking a bit cagey at the moment.
Liverpool hanging on there. That is not looking promising for them, is it, so far? That start, definitely not. Where are we going to go? Atlanta Valencia, the other game tomorrow night in the Champions League. Regan, we know you're obviously, as we've mentioned, a European advocate. Where do you think that game may go? Where it may swing, or where it may be won?
It's definitely going to be. To say it interesting is an understatement. We thought of Atalanta. I think they lost their first 3 games in the group stage, and then they drew their next one, and then they won the next 3. So they just about made it through in a quite a tough group. And I think they're 4th currently. Yes, they are 4th in the Serie A, which you say that they're doing well. But the fact that I think they might be 10 points behind 3rd place, Inter Milan. It's going to be an interesting one. Valencia. It's going to be an interesting one from their point of view, they're challenging towards the Champions League places in the Liga as well. As two teams that I think should definitely go for this tie, because I don't think Champions League qualification is certified for them next season. So I think they should both go for it. And I expect a lot of goals. I expect a lot of physical encounter, and I think one team will win. You just don't know who.
And we're going to go to Joe at Fratton Park. What's happened there, Joe?
Pompey striker Ellis Harrison's took a knock a few minutes ago, and he's really struggling with it now. He went off and then came back on, but he's limping around. I think they're going to make a change. He obviously scored in the last game, scored twice on Saturday, and yeah, he's starting to limp off now. I'm not entirely sure who's coming on for him, but I will quickly triple check that for you.
Bit of a cammy situation at Fratton Park there for you, Joe.
Just give me 2 seconds, but yeah, like I said, yeah, he's clapping the fans. He's coming off. Missed that golden opportunity in the first half as well, so that'll be a big blow for them.
Yeah, we'll go back to Joe once he knows who is coming on in that second half. Regan, there's had enough time of the game to settle. Is there looking like a side who is controlling it more?
Definitely, I wouldn't say so, but PSG have a very dangerous free kick about 25 yards out, and it's Neymar to strike it. And I have to say, it just scraped the side netting of the goal. It's a fantastic effort, but it's just scraped wide. It's been very end to end. That's the biggest chance of the game so far. Neymar just scraping the side netting from that free kick. Berkey, I think he did have it covered, but it would have been very close. Been very end to end, both attacking lines using their pace to try and get in behind, but it's very even end to end.
And games have slowed down around England, but we're going to go to Oxford United. They are drawing 0-0 with AFC Wimbledon. Jack Sale has the latest.
Good evening, Billy. Yeah, Oxford on top at the minute. They've had a penalty shout turned down. Mark Sykes seemed to be fouled by Terrell Thomas, but the wave play on after looking at the linesman. Matty Taylor's forced 2 good saves out of Joe Day. One header tipped over the bar was probably the best chance. Taylor also had a good shot with his right foot. Oxford on top and pushing, but struggling to break down a resolute AFC Wimbledon side right now.
Thanks, Jack. We'll be back with you more when there's more action there. Sounds like Oxford United have started the better of the two sides there at the Kassam Stadium, as you would expect on league position. And there's been a goal. Chester FC 0, Kings Lynn Town 1. Kings Lynn taking the lead at Chester there. We'll have more when there's been another goal at when there's been another when we know the scorer. In that game. George, anything going on at the Madrid? Have Liverpool managed to settle themselves back into that game?
Yeah,
yet?
Liverpool actually on the outside of the box right now, and Trent's just gone for a wayward cross there. It's gone over, but Liverpool not created anything so far.
And sorry, Joe.
I was going to say it was John Marcus that came on for Ellis Harrison.
John Marcus, he's definitely not someone who's not scared of goals, is he? He's definitely not scared of goals. And
scared of the goal, is he, Bill?
He's not scared of the goal. He's not scared of the goal. He will definitely find the back of the net. We know John Marcus is certainly capable. And Leamington have just had a red card in their fixture at Alfreton Town. That's going to make it difficult for them. The away side down to 10 men in that one. It's starting to come in now. We're starting to get goals. We're starting to get goals flying around the grounds. I'll keep you updated. Bath City are 1-0 up at Maidstone. We have Barrow 1-0 up away at Harrogate. It seems like a good day for the away side so far. And Leamington with that red card against down to 10 men now at Alfreton. We also have Southampton under 23s 2-0 up against Havant and Waterlooville in that Hampshire Senior Cup tie. Oxford obviously still 0-0 with AFC Wimbledon, as are Portsmouth with Exeter. The goals are starting to come now. They are slowly starting to come. Regan, British Dortmund vs PSG. Anything going on there?
Nothing of note. We had Rafael Guerrero charge in from the left-hand side and just launch a wayward effort way wide of the goal. But I'm seeing that it's a very intense midfield battle at the moment, especially with new permanent signing of Borussia Dortmund, Emre Can. Definitely forcing his way through, forcing his way into tackles. He's already made 2 fouls, and another fantastic challenge just then, actually by Emre Can himself, causing a corner for PSG. It's definitely a midfield battle, but no breakthrough as of yet.
And Emre Can has recently Borussia Dortmund activated his buy clause, didn't they? They loaned him from Juventus and they activated to buy him today.
Definitely, just after 2 games in, he scored 1 goal, a fantastic goal against Bayer Leverkusen, which is obviously enough for Borussia Dortmund to sign him permanently.
And Joe, the EFL Trophy, it's a competition that sparks a lot of debate. How's it looking there? Does it look like both sides definitely want to win that game? Because a lot of people have said that that competition has maybe gone a bit flat in recent years, but does it look like both sides definitely want to win that one?
Yeah, Exeter, as I said before, they put like a mixture of the teams, so it's like first team and some youth players. Portsmouth are definitely the better side. Marcus Harness just putting a nice cross in the box, which just evaded John Marquis. But yeah, the crowd here is excellent, considering obviously you got the boycotts at the beginning of this tournament. I think maybe the crowds are coming back now that it's towards the end of the tournament and there are no under 23 teams left in it, which I think was one of the peeves that some of the teams have with it, because obviously when it was a Johnstone Spade Trophy, it was, I think, one of the better tournaments, and much better than this one. But yeah, Portsmouth bet side, but Exeter at the moment are they've got a free kick on the edge, on the halfway line, so keep you updated. It's still 0-0.
Let's hope something comes from that. Yeah, the Johnstone Paint Trophy still not the Johnstone, obviously formerly the Johnstone Paint Trophy, the Leasing.com Trophy now. Definitely a good competition to give lower league sides a chance to get to Wembley. Confirm Motherwell have just equalised against St Mirren in the Scottish Cup 5th round. St Mirren's at the lead, went 1-0 up at Motherwell at Fir Park, with Obika opening score in the 14th minute, and now Polworth has just equalised for Motherwell in the 27th. Regan, we just had an ooh from you. What's happened?
We did, yeah. We've actually just had two actually, just great chances just then. We had a corner for PSG cleared, and the attacking pace I've mentioned already quite a few times of Jadon Sancho running forward into the PSG attacking half, defending half. Defence got back well, and Sancho didn't choose to go for Haaland or Hazard. Shot from about 20 yards out, just trickled wide. Keylor Navas was definitely caught out. And at the other end, almost straight from the opportunity, Mbappe gets in behind two defenders, tries to go past Mats Hummels, I think it is, in the centre, and in the end, it's just a tame effort. But two good chances early on.
Jadon Sancho lighting up that game. Thoughts on his possible transfer? We've heard rumours that he could be returning to England and going to Manchester United, obviously formerly of Manchester City. Thoughts on that one, Regan? Do you think it'd be a good move for him, or do you think he should stay in Dortmund?
I feel like you can only get so far with Borussia Dortmund. That do I think if he stays he can become a club legend? Yeah, definitely. Do I think that if he stays he can lead into a Bundesliga title? I'm not so sure, but I don't think Manchester United's a good move. I would say they're going through a transitional phase at the moment, and I don't think to join them at this time would lead them to anything special, because he might not even get Champions League football next season. And I think for a player of Sancho's calibre, you expect him to be in the Champions League. So I don't think Man United's a good move. And George, we haven't had an update from you in a while. How's it going in Madrid?
I think Liverpool are starting to get into the game a little bit more. They're pressing a slightly higher, keeping the ball. But Atletico have had some nice touches in the middle of midfield. I think Trent Alexander had an opportunity to cross the ball in. I mean, we all know what he's like with his deliveries, but it went way over the bar. But Liverpool are on the attack now.
How's it looking? Are they looking dangerous? Are they looking dangerous, Liverpool?
Well, I mean, it's hard to first 15 minutes. You've got to say it's been quite a even game, but Liverpool are sneaking back into it a little bit after going a goal down quite early on.
And we were just speaking about English players who go abroad. Obviously, Kieran Trippier isn't playing today. No. He's had a very good start in Madrid, hasn't he, Kieran Trippier? Do you think Atletico may be missing him on the right hand side?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, the first 15 minutes, you got to say Lodi and Vasalka have done all right defensively, and Lodi put in a great ball from the left hand side as well. But I've heard that he's now known as Rooney in Atletico's changing room. I can't see where they get that from, maybe because he's the only English bloke in the changing room. But Liverpool are on the attack now. Actually, in fact, Trent on this right hand side, back to Gomez, back to Trent. Is he going to get another cross in here? He is. It's cleared away by Vasalco.
We'll back more of you, obviously, George, as the goals and the chances come. There's been a goal in League 2. Macclesfield Town have just taken the lead against Plymouth Argyle. That is certainly a big goal. That is certainly a big goal in the League 2 promotion race. Joe, as we know, is a Swindon fan. He has just punched the air with that news. He is in delight. Macclesfield Town 1, Plymouth Argyle 0. Ryan Lowe will be, you could know with what a man he is, he will be ripping into his side to get back into that game. The goals are starting to come again. The goals are starting to come. They seem to come in waves, don't they? They certainly do. Anything going on? Update in that Fratton Park game, Portsmouth vs Exeter, Joe?
Not really. It's got a bit flat. Not much to happen. Apart from, like I said, the best attempt was still the Ellis Harrison one from the first half. But like I said, he's gone off now. Marquis, it's just a bit hit and miss at the moment, this game. But hopefully he should liven up in a bit. But half an hour gone and still 0-0.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Joe. There's been a goal at the Kassam Stadium. Jaxel, you have more?
Yeah, and it's gone to Oxford United. It has been coming, as to be said. Matty Taylor's missed 3 good chances already, but he's got his goal now. Mark Sykes and Anthony Ford linked well down the right. They slipped in James Henry, and his low cross across the box was a tap in for Matt Taylor in the end, and he's got his 8th League One goal of the season. It's Oxford United 1, AFC Wimbledon 0.
Thank you, Jack. Obviously, we'll go back to him more once we learn of more Oxford taking the lead there against AFC Wimbledon. Maybe their League One playoff race isn't over yet. We have confirmation of that Macclesfield goal in League Two. It was scored by Shiloh Tracy. He has put Macclesfield 1-0 up against Plymouth Argyle. In elsewhere, we still have Southend United drawing 0-0 with Gillingham at Roots Hall. Barrow 0, Dover Athletic 0. We have Brackley Town 0, Southport 0. Alfreton and Lehman is still 0-0, but we know Leamington are down to 10 men. They'll be looking to probably hang on for the rest of that match, you would expect. Bath City are 1-0 up at Maidstone United, and Oxford City are 1-0 up against Dorking Wanderers, whilst Falkirk are drawing 0-0 with East Fife. We're going to go to Joe. There's been something's happened at Fratton Park, Joe.
The ball's been in the net for Portsmouth, but it is offside, and it is offside, so there's no contention there. But John Marcus came on the tapped in a lovely ball from Marcus Harness, but offside and still 0-0.
And there's been another goal at Fir Park between Motherwell and St Mirren, and it's Obika has got his second. He has a brace, 31st minute. We now have St Mirren 2, Motherwell 1 in that Scottish Cup 5th round replay. Has it gone all a bit quiet maybe there in the Champions League, guys? Got a bit quiet?
Yeah. It's there's a few tumbleweeds going past, isn't there, Regan? But they've been good games, but it's looking very even at the Metropolitano at the moment.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to interrupt you there, George. There's been another goal at the Kassam Stadium. Jack Sell, you have more?
Yeah, it's another goal to Oxford. It's Oxford 2, Wimbledon 0. It was Nathan Holland with the goal, the West Ham loanee. James Henry did a brilliant flick in the middle of the park, allowing Mark Sykes to run right at the Wimbledon defence. He set up Holland, who fired beyond Joe Day, to make it Oxford 2, AFC Wimbledon 0.
Thank you, Jack. Oxford certainly putting their stamp on that game. And we're going to go to George. Something's happened in Madrid.
It was another fantastic chance, another fantastic cross from Lodi. He's whipped it in, and Morata's at the back post. He's waiting to tap it in, and Robertson's just got a nice flick on it out for a corner. They've just taken a short corner now as they're looking to flood the box. And Alisson picks up, and Liverpool get it clear.
Liverpool going to have to see out this spell, aren't they, George?
Yeah, I mean, Atletico have looked very dangerous going forward, but Liverpool haven't looked themselves at the moment.
What do you put that down to? Is there anything that stands out to you?
I don't know. I just think Atletico have been very strong in these opening 20 minutes. They've created some chances, but Jurgen Klopp will want his side to wake up a little bit.
And we now have an update from Jack May, who is at the game for Southampton Under-20s versus Havant. It was 2-0 the last time we checked in with you. What is happening, Jack?
Still 2-0 here, Bill. Saints 2 goals to the good. It's been a scrappy first opening 35 minutes. They've, to be fair to Havant, they've had a good fair few chances. Best of them being Saints keeper was caught in no man's land. He managed to loop the ball over him, but some brilliant play on the line twice from Saints has kept them 2 goals to the good. I think the pitch is faring very well for both teams, as there was a shower just before, so they've managed to use it to their advantage by zipping the ball along the surface.
And do you think there's a way back in this game for Havant, Jack?
I definitely do, yeah. I think they're creating good chances. I think it's only a matter of time for them, Bill.
Thank you. We'll get more of an update from Jack later. It sounds like that is definitely an action-packed game there in the Hampshire Senior Cup. There's been another goal at Fir Park. The goals are flying in Scotland at the moment. St Mirren are now 3-1 up at Motherwell in that Scottish Cup, 5th round replay. Peter Hartley with an own goal. Obviously used to apply his trade in England, now at Motherwell, and putting the ball in the back of his own net. Motherwell will want to correct that scoreline very quickly. And there's been a goal at Barnet. We'll have a more update when we know the score, but it is now Barnet 1, Harrogate Town 1. Barnet back in that match, and that is poised to be a good affair, that one. And Regan, we'll get another update from you. How's things settling in Signal Iduna Park?
You haven't heard from me for a while, but I must say it's an absolutely fantastic game. We've had amazing opportunities. We had one for Borussia Dortmund running through, and I think it was Haaland that had a shot that was blocked by Thiago Silva, and then straight up the other end, PSG and Neymar run through, I think, four Borussia Dortmund players before it got blocked. Then straight up the other end, immediately afterwards, Jadon Sancho, who I must say has been targeted by all fronts, by all the PSG players, run through, played it back for Emre Can. He has a clear shot on goal, and Marco Verratti, from absolutely nowhere, straight from behind the man, gets a fantastic ball in, as it almost was a goal there. Great save by Keylor Navas. And just beforehand, Mats Hummels Free kick comes in from Jadon Sancho at the back post, just graces the crossbar onto the top of the post. Fantastic game so far. Somehow still goalless.
You wouldn't expect it to be goalless between those sides for very long, would you? They certainly score goals, but leaked them too. And I can confirm that goal scorer for Barnet was Paul McCallum, who equalised at the Hive in their game against Harrogate Town. The goals are starting to fly in, aren't they? They are starting to fly in around the grounds. We have no more. Oh, we have got a goal. Dorking Wanderers have just equalised at Oxford City. I'm sure we will get an update soon from Wes, who was there. Dorking Wanderers 1, Oxford City 1. We'll bring you the update when it comes to us. Joe, Fratton Park. We know John Mark has come on. Has he been able to have an impact on this game so far?
Not really. I think both sides are they're lacking anything up top. It's all just a bit in the middle. Exeter, I think, had a shot properly yet. They had one, made their way down the right, but there's, like I said, no end product at all from either side, and it's still 0-0. A bit of a dull game so far, but hopefully it will pick up the next 5 before half time. Still 0-0. I'm
going to go to Georgia. Something's happened in Madrid, George?
Yeah, quite a funny thing happened there, actually. A typical definition of the game has gone soft, really. I mean, Salah's just won the ball quite cleanly off Lodi in the bottom left corner, and Lodi a second later seems to roll around on the floor, and Salah's in disbelief. I mean, I think I am as well on that decision, but a little bit weird from the referee there to give that one.
And we was obviously Joe just brought us the update from Fratton Park. Exeter have struggled recently despite their good league position. Portsmouth are on fire. Obviously they lost recently to Coventry, but apart from that they were on a great run of wins, weren't they? You'd certainly think that with the opening counters, despite Ellis Harrison going off, that Portsmouth may score the opening goal in that match. There's the goals are. Oh, George, we want to get George.
Yeah, Morata's in. Alisson saved it. It's onto the edge of the box. And Gini Wijnaldum runs away clear. I mean, it's another long ball over the top by Atletico Madrid, and Correa and Morata are causing problems for Van Dijk and Gomez. It balls over the top, and Morata runs in, and it's a save. And oh my God, and Liverpool have equalised. I mean, that is a quick change of events there.
Talking through the goal, George. What's happened there?
No. Oh. It's been called off. Drama happening here at the Metropolitano here. The goalkeeper, Oblak, has given it to Salah about 30 yards out, just basically passed it to him, coming straight from a Morata chance.
Oh, what a save!
On the other side of the pitch. And he's given it to Firmino, and Firmino's in an offside position. He's laid it off to Salah. Salah's tapped in. Liverpool goal deemed offside. But that's come straight from a Morata chance from Alisson's save. You know, what a couple seconds that was. I couldn't even keep up.
It just shows how quickly Champions League football can turn. Obviously, still Atletico 1, Liverpool 0 there, but looks like Liverpool certainly have a chance. We know what sort of how deadly their front three can be. Regan, you just said, "Oh, what a chance!" What's happened in Germany?
It was absolutely fantastic save by Keylor Navas. Borussia Dortmund once again using their pace to get in behind. It was Erling Haaland on the left. He stumbled a bit, it reached Jadon Sancho on the edge of the area, and he bent it with his right foot. It looked like he was going towards the bottom corner. Keylor Navas with a fantastic leap to palm it away, and then it was eventually cleared. But the midfield battle is continuing here, and I have to say, I think Borussia Dortmund are winning it now, but it's still 0-0.
Still 0-0 there at Signal Iduna Park in that Champions League tie. Those games are starting to certainly hop up, aren't they, as we come into around the half an hour mark. Games around England are starting to come towards half time. Some are in the 42nd, some are in the 40th, but they are obviously the different kick-off times. But they will all be coming into half-time shortly, and I'm sure we will get half-time updates as they come in, and obviously all the goals. We're still yet to hear back from Wes for that Dorking Wanderers goal. I'm sure we will in due course. Still Oxford City 1, Dorking Wanderers 1, to our knowledge there. George, anything clear up what actually happened there in Madrid?
Yeah, it's like a shot from outside the box from Partey. Atletico have been the better side, definitely. Some really nice touches in Liverpool's third. But back on the offside goal. I mean, Morata played in behind by Correa over the top of the defence. You wouldn't expect that from a Van Dijk back line. And Morata gets in, saved by Alisson, and then the counter-attack, it falls to Salah. He shoots, and then Firmino is just there, and he's in an offside position, and Salah taps in, but Firmino was in an offside position.
I'm going to have to interrupt you, George. There's been an update from now. We finally have that update from the Oxford City game. Wes, can you tell us more?
Yes, good evening here at Court Place Farm, and Dorking Wanderers have equalised the away side 1-1. James McShane, the goal scorer over here at Court Place Farm. Maybe it's worth the trip down from Surrey for Dorking Wanderers. But half-time in the next few minutes or so, 1-1 here at Oxford City.
Thank you, Wes, for that update. I'm sure it is looking like it is possibly worth that trip up to Oxford. I'm sure you have got very wet with Storm Dennis. Joe is pointing to me. There's an update from Fratton Park.
Exeter just had their best chance of the game. Doesn't really say much though. They've bundled into the area and they've had a shot which has gone horribly wide. From a deflected shot, was falling straight back to them. But it's probably their best chance of the game. And we're coming towards half time. It's still 0-0.
Does it look like it's going to end? It's going to be 0-0 at half time there, Joe?
Yeah, it's looking that way. It is looking that way.
Flat game there in the Leeds Stockholm Trophy. You'd hope that in the second half, especially with the Fratton Park crowd behind them, that would spice up. George, sorry.
Yeah, Robertson's probably just had one of Liverpool's best chances there. You know, typical Robertson, comes in off the left side, plays a 1-2 with Firmino, and his shot's just wide. But yeah, Liverpool, they're not looking too dangerous going forward at the moment, but you know, only time will tell.
And we have goal news here now. Maidstone United have just equalised against Bath City. That is 1-1. We'll have update of the scorer when we have it. Also, St Mirren have just scored a fourth at Fir Park. Just before half time, it is now Motherwell 1, St Mirren 4. Regan, is there an update for us?
Nothing much. I'm going to keep referring back to it. That midfield battle that seems to be so key, especially for Borussia Dortmund. They're winning all the possessions, but also, for some reason, it's Ludwig Kazawa on the left-hand side. Usually plays left back for PSG. He's really getting in behind that defence, and he's laying it off to Neymar, who I must say is using his skills perfectly to get in behind. But that back three is marking each other's attacking three perfectly, and it's still 0-0.
We have a score correction from Maidstone. It is still Bath City 1, Maidstone United 0. Maidstone's goal has been chalked off by the Suns. Half-time scores are starting to come in around the grounds in non-league. It is now Barrow 0, Dover 0 at half-time. We have an update, and it is Barnet 1, Harrogate 1. In the Football League, it is Southend United 0, Gillingham 0 at Roots Hall. We are starting to come into half-time, but I'll tell you where it's not half-time. Madrid, George. Sounds like Liverpool are starting to get back into that game. There could be a goal coming at any moment, couldn't there?
Yeah, I think it's Fabinho's had a shot from 30 yards, but Liverpool are starting to use their width. You know, that we all know how they use their fullbacks. Trent and Robertson are getting a bit more into the game, spreading the pitch. But yeah, Atletico do look very organised at the back. I mean, that's just a typical Simeone team. But you know, Liverpool haven't looked too great going forward. But you know, I think chances will come for Liverpool in the end.
And anything happen at Fratton Park, Joe?
No, we're into the second minute of 2 minutes added on. I think that's obviously come from the Harrison injury because there's been nothing of note to start the game. Just a bit of head in now. Yeah, it goes a free kick for Portsmouth for their own half.
Yeah, well, I think we'll come back to you at half time when we'll get a little half time update. I'm sure he won't have much to say though by the sounds of it. Speaking of the Champions League, guys, with all the games going on, Atletico obviously won up against Liverpool and Borussia Dortmund 0-0 against Paris Saint-Germain still. That and Macclesfield 1, Plymouth 0. Looks like it is going to be the scoreline at half time. And and it is Oxford. Yeah, that's an update. We have Oxford City 1, Dorking Wanderers 1-1 at half time. The half time scores, as I said, starting to come in. Yes, and it is Macclesfield 1, Plymouth Argyle 0 at half time. And we have Kelechi in the studio with us. He has the social updates on the Champions League. Kelechi, what have people been saying?
Yes, Bill, it's been quite slow to be starting off, but there have been some tweets coming in on Twitter. Someone says, I hope everyone now knows that Atletico are 1-0 up against Liverpool. It's going to be the most boring game ever since Atletico have been sitting off. And then someone says, fair to Atletico, coming out all guns and blazing. I just worry when Liverpool start to settle down, they'll start playing their best football. We got a tweet from Miguel Delaney. He's a very accredited sports journalist. He said Haaland just made the whole pitch in what must have been about 10 seconds, was in loads of space, but Sancho went in by himself. And he calls Haaland an absolute beast, but obviously he hasn't been getting the chances he needs to. And from Chelsea fans, they obviously want Sancho to be playing for them. They're saying that Sancho is playing like Pedro from last night. So far, it hasn't been the best, but surely Dortmund should be coming in with a goal soon. But back to the Atletico game. Someone said if Simeone knows what's good for him, he should not tell his team to sit back and counter, since Liverpool will obviously get back and hopefully play their best football. But yeah, so far, nothing's really happening. Is that another chance?
Go to Regan. Sorry, we'll cut off Kelechi short there. Something's happened at Signal Iduna Park.
Yeah, sorry about that, Kelechi. We were talking about Haaland just now, and he also had a fantastic chance. It's Jadon Sancho again. I must say he's at the forefront of all these chances. Haaland gets onto his left foot, just inside the area on the left hand side. It's just slammed into the side netting. It's probably the best chance that Haaland has had. He's barely had a shot on goal, but that's the best chance so far. But PSG looked to counter, and that midfield battle, I'm going to say it again, is continuing.
As Kelechi was just saying about Erling Haaland, it looks like he can cover the pitch well. Anything else that's been said, Kelechi, online?
Yeah. Andy Robertson, apparently from LFC News, it's a Liverpool account, he is one booking away from a Champions League suspension, and no other Red or Atletico players are in that position. So that's very interesting news.
That looks like a position for Atletico could exploit. We're going to go to, thanks for that, Kelechi. I'm sure we'll have more of an update on the socials with you soon. We're going to go to Jack Mayo, who has an update at half-time for the Southampton Under-23s game against Havant and Waterlooville. Jack.
Yep, half-time here at the Snow Stadium. Bill still 2-0 to the Saints youngsters. The best chance would probably go to Havant since the last update. It was a right-back Benny Reid, lovely ball out to him from the midfield. Skips past a couple of players and fizzes it across the box. Any sort of contact would have been a goal for Havant, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But Havant have been doing well, but the Saints have managed to maintain themselves pretty well in the half, kept the shape solid, and still 2-0.
Thanks, Jack. We'll have more of an update as the second half kicks off in that game. As he said, Southampton youngsters are beating Havant and Waterloo 2-0 in that Hampshire Cup game. Oxford United Wimbledon is 2-0 at half-time. George, did we just have an ooh from you?
Yeah, you did just have an ooh from me. And Salah just had a chance, but I think Felipe's headed it over. But it's great play from Liverpool just in and around the box. Firmino and Salah working well, but Salah's shot just headed over by Felipe for a Trent Alexander corner just coming now.
And you heard what Kelechi said about Andy Robertson. Do you think Atletico Madrid know that? Are they looking to expose him?
Of course, they're going to know that he's one game away. He's so important for Liverpool in that left side. They're so attacking their fullbacks. But I think Liverpool really are coming into the game now as Trent's coming into the box with a cross. Oh, it's just across the face of goal. Firmino looking to head on. It's just gone straight past him and out for a Atletico Madrid throw-in on the left-hand side.
And we do have an update from Jack Sow, who is at the Kassam Stadium. Oxford United 2, AFC Wimbledon nil. Jack?
Yeah, half-time here at the Kassam. Oxford 2, AFC Wimbledon 0. It's been a half that Oxford have really been in control of from the first whistle, really. Matty Taylor going close 3 times before eventually opening the scoring from a James Henry cross. 2 minutes later, it was 2-0 as West Ham loanee Nathan Holland fired beyond Joe Day after a good run from Mark Sykes. Oxford have had penalty appeals turned down. They've hit the post. And Joe Day's probably Wimbledon's man of the match at the minute. But they won't feel this game's done. They've been in poor form recently. Wimbledon have threatened just before half-time. Joe Pigott heading wide from a cross from Julien Lamy.
And Jack, can you see a realistic way of Wimbledon getting back into this game? What do you think their manager's going to tell them at half-time?
I don't think he'll be too pleased. They've been poor. They've been a lot of fouling of Oxford players as well. That Pigott chance at the half, just before half-time actually, was probably the only time they've really threatened. Oxford look sort of like they're rekindling the form that they saw them second at the turn of the year, but there's obviously a long way to go. Wimbledon get one, the crowd could get nervous. Only one win in 2020, so. But at half-time, Oxford 2, Wimbledon 0.
Thank you, Jack. We'll have more from him as the second half gets underway there. Sounds like Oxford are in cruise control there at the Kassam Stadium. Regan, let me go through some of the halftime scores. Let me update you around the grounds. Then we'll go to Joe, who will have the halftime update at Fratton Park. It is Motherwell 1, St Mirren 4 at halftime in that Scottish fifth round replay. We have Oxford United 2, AFC Wimbledon 0, as Jack just reported for us. Southend United 0, Gillingham 0 at Roots Hall. Macclesfield Town 1, Plymouth Argyle 0. A big game in the League 2 promotion race. Plymouth will be looking to come back into that in the second half, I am sure of it. Barnet 1, Harrogate Town 1, Barrow 0, Dover Athletic 0. We have Brackley Town 0, Southport 0, Chester 1, Kings Lynn Town 1, Alverton and Leamington is still 0-0. Bath City 1-0 up at Maidstone United, but Maidstone United did have a goal chalked off, so it looks like Maidstone still do have that goal threat there. It is Oxford City 1, Dorking Wanderers 1, and Falkirk 0, East 5-0. But we'll go to you, Joe. Update of how the first half has looked at Fratton Park.
Yeah, so it's half time now. They've both gone down into the tunnel, obviously. Again, Portsmouth probably the better side. Still a scrappy game. Like I said, the best chance probably first 5 minutes from Ellis Harrison, who obviously went off and was replaced by John Marquis. I think obviously both Kenny Jackett and Matt Taylor are going to be having strong words with their team to try and sort out a reaction. I mean, like I said, they were missing something in the final third, and hopefully they can, if it's sub or whatever, sort out and make it a more interesting second half for yourself.
Yeah, sounds like a pretty dull first half there for Joe. I'll be watching that. I'll be having to tune in and watch that second half at some point as well. So let's hope there's some goals that flying into that one. Regan, some of the goals aren't flying in, but chances are potentially. What's happening in Germany?
Once again, I'm going to keep saying it every time he comes to it. It's that midfield battle. It's so important to each team here. And I said earlier on, Borussia Dortmund are winning and they're producing more chances. Now it's PSG winning it and they're coming forward. It's Di Maria on the right-hand side that's causing so many issues. And I'm not sure if it's a mix between Dortmund's defence doing well as PSG just not mixing with each other at the moment. We've just entered the last 5 minutes of the first half and there hasn't been any major chances yet. But I feel like there still could be one more before the end of the half.
And with a pitch full of so many talented footballers. We know PSG went for that sort of Galactica approach. They signed so many good footballers, but they maybe have signed some lesser names to like you said, win that midfield battle recently. Has anyone in that game really grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck so far?
I'd say that Idrissa Gueye in the midfield has done very well, but I think my man of the match is Lanvin Kazawa actually on the left back or left wing. I genuinely can't tell. He's been so versatile and he's going up and down every wing. He's helping the attack and the defence. He's been fantastic. But the midfield, I'd say Axel Witsel as well, doing well. That Witsel against Idrissa Gueye battle is proving very costly for whoever team loses at the moment. But still 0-0 entering the last 5 minutes. PSG have a goal kick here with Keylor Navas, whose fantastic save from Jadon Sancho proves to be the decisive moment to keep this game level. And
with that game, Regan, obviously, like you said, 0-0, but there's been it's been a sort of a game where it's swayed between the two sides, it seems. Which side do you think will be thinking this game is the most important to them? Obviously, it's the home leg for Borussia Dortmund, but we know how important those away goals are for Paris Saint-Germain. They haven't got one yet. Do you think? What side do you think will be happy with a 0-0 if the score stays the same?
Oh, PSG, 100%, because their record at their stadium is fantastic, and I'd be happy with the way the PSG are performing right now. It's just the final product that he's working on. But Mbappe and Neymar are getting in behind that defence. They just can't find the end product. But I believe in the second half, if they continue this, they will find a goal. But because of that Borussia Dortmund as well, they're lacking that end product. But both teams are doing fantastically.
And how long have we got left until half-time now? It can't be long, can it, Regan?
Just under 3 minutes plus added time as Borussia Dortmund come forward. And I believe they will win a corner. Yes, they will.
And I'm sure there'll be a goal from that corner. Well, I'm not sure. I'm hoping there'll be a goal from that corner. I'm sure Regan is as well. George, we haven't spoke to you in a while. How long left until half-time there in Madrid?
It's about 4. Oh, no, it's just cleared away from Van Dijk. But yeah, Liverpool still failing to find their stride. And obviously the social media updates them saying that Atletico is sitting back. But you got to argue that it's a great game plan to have. You can't give Liverpool too much room. But yeah, no, Liverpool haven't been at their electric best, as we all know, but they are coming forward now.
Can you describe to us what's happening, George?
Yeah, no, it's they're using Trent and Robertson quite a lot, but it just doesn't seem to be working, and the counter-attack is always on for Atletico as well. But yeah, I think Simeone will be very happy with how the first half's gone.
And what style do you think? Not style. Maybe what formation have Atletico set up in? Is it a 4-4-2? Or they?
It is a 4-4-2. But then the way they're drilled, you can just see that even with a 4-4-2, Liverpool are going to find it quite difficult to break them down. So from what I've seen in the first half.
Yeah, we have seen this season, despite Liverpool's extreme success and having not lost a game in England, in the Premier League, so far this season, but they do sometimes struggle to break down sides, and a lot of the games they do win in the end.
Yeah, and you've got to say the weekend against Norwich, we've got to say that they probably, they did struggle a little bit at times, even though they did win the game. It took them a while to score the first goal. But yeah, we're Liverpool, they just find that way to win. even when they're not playing so well. So we'll have to see in the second half.
A higher quality opposition they're up against tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, much higher. They're used to this competition. Diego Simeone, who's been to the final, I think, twice with Atletico now. Slightly reshuffled team nowadays, but he would have drilled it into this side that he knows what the Champions League means for the club.
And we now have an update from Stoneham. Luke Robinson is there with us. The latest, it's half-time, Luke.
It certainly is, and no team have really got the grip on the game. There's been a few chances for both sides, most notably for Stoneham, Edu Jimenez. He went through on goal. It was a golden opportunity, but he just couldn't convert. Both teams really struggling to get a foothold on the game. It's been quite end-to-end. The midfield battle has been very important, but no team can really get a grip on the game.
We'll have more from Luke in the second half. Sounds like a slow burner there. It's Stoneham. I'm hoping it was worth the journey for him. Speaking of midfield battles, Regan.
It's like he's listening to me, isn't it?
He's listening. Maybe he's got it up. Maybe he's listening live.
But we're just getting into added time now, and you can see that. Oh, I'll tell a lie. It is half time. No added time in the slide. It's midfield. I'm gonna say it again. The midfield battle just keeps continuing. There's a lot of challenges flying in towards the end. Axel Witsel, the first one's going to the book after fantastic run by Di Maria, nutmegging Mooney, I believe it was, on the right, cutting in, and Axel Witsel taking the cynical foul, taking the yellow card. But all to play for in the second half. Hopefully there'll be goals. I'm expecting their goals, but unfortunately it's 0-0.
Yeah, half-time there at Signal Iduna Park, 0-0 between Borussia Dortmund and Paris Saint-Germain. You maybe wouldn't have bet on that before the game. Borussia Dortmund and Paris Saint-Germain obviously flood goals. George, are we coming towards half-time in your match?
Yeah, we're into the 45th minute. I'm just waiting on the confirmation of the added time, but Mane's just... he's looking for that one, but we won't talk about that for Mane's sake anyway.
Yeah, and George, just keep us ticking until half-time. How would you see a way back? Would you see a way back into this game for Liverpool? And if so, what do you think Jurgen Klopp would be telling him?
Yeah, you can never write off Liverpool and how they've been doing this year and even last year. But there is only 1 minute added time, so maybe we'll have to see what happens up until half-time. But Jurgen Klopp will not be happy with his side going into the break for sure.
And somewhere where it is half-time is Oxford City. Where's you have the latest for us?
Yes, I do, and the scoreline is 1-1 here at Court Place Farm. Oxford City 1, Dorking 1. Oxford City had the opening goal with Zaka Ketron in the 4th minute, but there wasn't another goal for another 35 minutes as James McShane took advantage of a lovely cross from someone, I can't remember who, to put Dorking equal in the 39th minute. If McShane had the first goal in the 39th minute, then I would have won a £60 cash prize for the golden goal, but not to be for me. 1-1 here at Oxford City.
It sounds like you're enjoying your time there at Oxford City, Wes. But we will have more with Wes later. Sounds like he's enjoying it. He didn't win his £60, but I'm sure his journey was still worth it with the 2 goals in the first half already. We are going to go and we've investigated more about Paris Saint-Germain and their time in the Champions League.
It is now the halftime show for PSG versus Dortmund. Here are some match facts to make it more interesting. PSG have reached the Champions League knockout stages for the 8th consecutive season. Only Real Madrid, Barcelona and Bayern Munich are on a longer run. However, in that time, the French side have never gone past the quarter-finals and have been eliminated in the last 16 in each of the past 3 seasons.
Here is Neymar, leaves it for Mbappe.
PSG forward Kylian Mbappe has scored and assisted 30 goals in 30 Champions League games. That's 19 goals and 11 assists. He's netted 3 goals against Borussia Dortmund, his joint best record in the Champions League against a single opponent.
It's gone offside. Neymar has a big chance here, bit of ball juggling. Little shuffle inside. Brilliant from Neymar.
And finally, as we now know, Brazilian superstar Neymar has returned from injury. This is a big boost to PSG's hopes of progressing to the quarter-finals. Neymar has 13 goals in 14 League One appearances for the club this season and has been in rich vein of goal-scoring form. Neymar has only made 1 start in Europe's top competition this season due to injury and suspension, but came up with a goal and 2 assists in the 5-0 win over Galatasaray.
Thank you very much. Billy and I, Joe, have swapped places now. Billy's now on the EFL Trophy semi-final, and I'll be taking over now. We've also, thank you very much to Regan and George for the Champions League. They have also been replaced by we've got Sam and we've got Lewis in the studio with us now. The second halves are just starting to kick off as we speak. But before that, we'll just get a little bit on the Champions League fixtures so far. Have you been, guys, what do you think of the first half? Do you think it's been good so far?
Personally, I think I'm looking forward to the second half because I want to see what Liverpool can sort of come out at half-time, because I know that they're good at scoring early on in the second half. So I'm looking forward to see how they're going to come out. If Klopp's half-time talk is going to sort of motivate them a little bit more. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Do you think they need to make any changes, or is it just going to be a conversation that you start with them?
Well, based on his record at the stadium, I'd bring on Origi, to be honest. I think just the front three, they're just not linking up as well as what you'd expect, sort of what we've seen in the league. So I would make a change. I'd bring on Origi for probably Firmino.
Fair enough. And what about you, Sam? What do you think of the first half of the Dortmund game?
Yeah, I think it's gone really well. Dortmund, I think they look like the better side, and they look like the side who are gonna score. I'd like to. Sancho has been doing very well down the left hand side. He's been weaving. He's been getting past a few players, and I'd like to see Haaland get involved more. He hasn't had much on the ball, but as for PSG, I think as for PSG, they've come close. Like in the first half, they had that free kick from Neymar. I'm just really excited to see how the second half goes.
Yeah, very good. Thank you very much. So, like I said, all the English games are starting to come into the start of the second half now. Got League One, Oxford, Wimbledon, where we've got our boy Jack. Southend, Gillingham as well. League Two, Macclesfield are playing Plymouth in a game which would be very big at the top of the table. Plymouth playing their game in hand, and they could go joint top if they win that, but they're currently 1-0 down at Macclesfield. We've got Billy's now watching the second half of the EFL Trophy semi-final between Pompey and Exeter. Bit of a dull first half, but hopefully it's going to be much better this half. How's it started so far?
Yeah, just watching the early exchanges here between obviously Portsmouth and Exeter at Fratton Park. Exeter actually just come out the traps maybe in the second half. It's still only a few minutes and there's yet to be a proper shot on target in the second half yet. But Exeter just got down the side and crossed the ball into the box. But Bass in goal for Portsmouth claimed easily. But just seeing here, it is like a scrappy game like you said. There's not much flow to it by the looks of it. But hopefully, as I just saw it in the early exchanges, Exeter coming out the traps in the second half, looking like they definitely want to improve on their first half display. I don't think it's going to be a home banker for Portsmouth. I think Exeter could do something in this second half and seal a trip to Wembley.
Yeah, I think it might just be the nerves of the cup final, which is the scrappy game. But obviously, hopefully, towards the end of the game, which goes straight to penalties, if it doesn't go through, it will be looking good. Yes,
Matt Taylor with his arms crossed there doesn't look very impressed with his side. So I'm sure that halftime team talk was. Halftime team talk was very strong. Maybe he gave a bit of the hairdryer treatment, possibly. But still 0-0 here at Fratton Park. Yeah,
I'm sure both Jacket and Taylor gave it to them. So obviously, all the games are now got the Scottish Cup game still. It's 4-1 now to St Mirren. That's obviously just started again. Obika's got 2 goals for St Mirren. Hartley's got an own goal and Foley as well. And Motherwell got on the 27th minute. It looks like they're on their way through to the next round is St Mirren. So that's a replay. Now we're going over to Louis.
Yep. Sorry, what was that?
Keep on going. So obviously the game's at half time, about to come into the second half. How much longer have we got? Another 5 minutes? I think.
Probably got about another 5 minutes or so. I think sort of they're halfway through their half-time team talks. And I think personally, I'm looking forward to see what Liverpool have to offer in this second half, because Atletico, they're going to sit back. They're going to take the 1-0 and go away to Anfield and look forward to their away leg. I feel like Simeone, he's going to just tell them sit back and just do what they're already doing. You know, they're soaking up the pressure really well. Liverpool aren't getting a look in. I think Oblak has had barely anything to do. So I think I think it's going to be much of the same. I think you're going to get a lot of Liverpool possession, but not much being done with it. And I think Atletico are just going to look to counter and counter and counter.
There's been a goal at Oxford Stadium. Let's see who's got it for. Drax at the exam for us.
Yeah, it's James Henry who's got the goal. It's Oxford 3, AFC Wimbledon 0. Marcus Brown running at the Wimbledon fence. Sanders trying to bring him down but failing. He slotted in James Henry, who delightfully lobbed the on-rushing keeper. 3-0. Henry into double figures in League One this season for Oxford.
Do you think that's game over? There we go. We seem to have lost him, but nevertheless. We'll go back to you, Lewis. Obviously, as you said, they're looking to sit back. Liverpool have had 75% possession in the first half anyway. So obviously, they've got the early goal of Atletico. And now you think they're just going to sit back in? It's evidence from what they're doing already.
Yeah, I mean, what their game, you can see it's Simeone's game plan and Atletico's game plan to just soak up that pressure. And honestly, they're doing it so well, I wouldn't change a thing. Potentially, maybe towards the end of the second half, they could sort of bring on some different attacking options, maybe to try and grab a second. But ultimately, what Atletico will want to do is they'll just want to remain defensively strong and just. I mean, they're playing a 4-4-2, and that midfield, the way it links up with the back four, is just so sort of structurally sound. Liverpool I don't see them breaking it down unless there's some tired legs on the pitch later on in the game.
Yeah, well, they're still to have a shot on target as well so far. Obviously, in the Portsmouth game, looking at the stats of that one, it's very even, no shots on target, and then 52 to 48% possession, which I think sums that one up perfectly. As like I said, anything else happened in the first 5?
Well, Portsmouth just have a corner here. They're about to whip in front of that Fratton end. Will their crowd suck the goal into the net? No, it looks like Exeter are going to be able to deal with it. Maybe not. Portsmouth are recycling the ball here. They have the ball on the right-hand side. They're crossing the ball in. And, the ball's been cleared off the line.
Ooh.
Has it been a goal? John Marquis is running over to the referee. No, there hasn't been a goal. It looked like Marquis who got the final touch, and the ball got cleared off the line by the Exeter defence, and now Exeter's keeper is able to claim the ball. But yeah, that was frantic. It looks like Portsmouth's shooting towards that Fratton end will cause Exeter a lot of problems. Yeah. The only other update apart from that, was Marquis, just seeing the replay here, who had the header, and it was cleared off the line. Definitely wasn't in by the looks of it. But Exeter City's Alex Fisher also got a yellow card for a studs up challenge, and it looked like could have possibly been a red in a modern day game. He did get the ball, but it was a dangerous challenge. But yeah, I did say that Exeter came out the traps, but maybe they've lost their heads a bit because Portsmouth look like they are certainly starting to keep the ball a bit more now. Whereas Exeter just have Portsmouth will deal with that. Yeah, so Portsmouth have just had a good chance cleared off the line. Still 0-0 here at Fratton Park though, 54 minutes played.
Thank you very much. Just looking now, Barnet versus Harrogate Town has been abandoned at half time. I'm currently unsure as to why that is, but we'll get that for you as soon as we know. So obviously, at Fratton Park, finally something to get your heart going again. Oxford again, still in a 3-0 lead, but we're going to go over to Sam now. So first half, pretty even. Dortmund had 7 shots, only 1 on target though. PSG still yet to have a shot on target. What do you think needs to change?
Like I said before, I just think Haaland needs to get into the game more. We haven't seen much of him. But one thing that's been going well for Dortmund is the chances that they've been making. I mean, Jadon Sancho, he's been by far the best player in the team on the pitch. So I just think they need to, try and like get things going and really try and push PSG. As for PSG, I think their best is still yet to come, and with the 45 minutes to come, I think anything can happen. I'd like to see more from Di Maria, who's been kind of quiet in the game. So maybe something from him, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. So obviously it's very high passing accuracy there as well. So it looks like I think it's just in the middle. But there hasn't been another goal at the Kassam Stadium. Oxford taking a 4-0 lead against AFC Wimbledon. So that game looks like it is all wrapped up. We will get to speak to Jack when we can. But yeah, let's go back to the Dortmund game at the moment. Like I said, the passing, there's very tight passing at the moment. As Regan touched upon in the first half, I think it is just going to be that midfield battle. Everyone's very strong in the middle, and they just need something to break it down. I think it's the pace of Sancho and then Haaland up top for Dortmund, and then obviously the other way around you've got Mbappe and I can't remember his name. And it's just PSG's attacking. Neymar's the one.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think. I think again, as you said, the midfield battle is key because if you have good quality players in your midfield and the chances that they have, then anything can happen. So it's all about who wins that battle, because in the midfield you need to create goals and you need those players to do that. So I think anything can happen, and we'll see.
Are they coming back on the pitch now, or is it still a few more minutes to go?
They look to be coming back on. Just having some problems, but yeah.
No, it's all good. Same with you, Louis. Are they coming back on the pitch yet, or are they still?
Yeah, I believe they are. We've got a couple of minutes before the second half begins. They're on their way out now. Just waiting to wait for the whistle to sort of get blown.
What do you think Klopp would have said to his boys at half time?
He would have shouted at them, definitely. I think because it's by far not the best Liverpool performance we have seen. You're used to seeing such fluid attacking with Liverpool, with their front three, the way they can interchange. But it's almost like you're getting that from Atletico instead. The way the wing-backs, Lodi and Vasalco, the way they're getting up the pitch, getting it into Lamar and Koke, the transitional play is just so much better than Liverpool's at the moment.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to go quickly over to Billy now at Fratton Park as well.
Yeah, we just had an update. Kenny Jackett has decided to make a change in this second half. He has taken off Ben Close from midfield and brought in Ollie Hawkins, the forwards. Maybe that sort of shows the way this game is going. It looks like Portsmouth certainly have in this second half increased the pressure now. And as they have a chance here, Harness's cross is blocked away. But yeah, looks like Portsmouth. Kenny Jackett sees that this game's up for grabs. Maybe Hawkins' aerial presence in the box could help them score in front of that threat. And as I said, looks like Exeter are struggling to deal with the balls into the box. So Portsmouth are throwing up. Just Exeter have a chance here. Nicky Law has the ball in the box. Maybe Exeter's going to open the scoring behind against the runner play. Ball is worked around the edge of the box. Here we have it on the side. Richardson is going to try and get a ball in by the looks of it. And I think this attack may have died. Sorry, Joe. I think this attack may have died. And Portsmouth, Portsmouth have recovered the ball. But yeah, Ollie Hawkins is on for Ben Mark. Oh, just before I go, John Marquis had just picked up the ball from that Exeter attack in the Portsmouth box, ran with it, and has been taken out and could potentially be the last man. No, the referee goes to his pocket for a yellow card, it looks like. So still 0-0, but Portsmouth definitely dominating.
Cheers, thank you very much for that one. I believe we've got Jack on the line now to talk about that Oxford goal. Jack, what's happened?
Yeah, it's Oxford 4, AFC Wimbledon 0. Wimbledon looking all over the place at the back. They played a long ball forward. Elliot Moore, the centre half for Oxford, has just headed it forward. The centre back for Wimbledon's let the ball bounce. Nathan Holland ran in and slotted in for his second of the evening. Since then, Wimbledon have made a double change as they look to turn things around, but they've been desperately poor this evening. So it's Oxford United 4, AFC Wimbledon 0.
Cheers, thank you very much for that, Jack. So that's Holland's second goal of the game. I believe the players are back out on the pitch now in the Champions League games. Is that correct for both of you?
They are indeed. What's interesting is the camera panned over to Origi warming up, and I'm really intrigued to see what his... and he's actually getting his tracksuit off now. He is
he's getting stripped to come on there.
Yeah, he is. He's got the call up. He is coming on. Just waiting for confirmation of who's coming off, but it looks like Origi is going to be coming on just as predicted.
You called that, Lewis, didn't you?
I did indeed.
How many minutes have gone so far?
It's literally the half hasn't kicked off yet. It's a half-time substitution. Atletico are making one as well. Who is that coming on? That is Llorente. And he is coming off for Thomas Lamar. So they're sacrificing a bit of pace, maybe to shut the game off already.
Yeah, well, I think that's a tactic, isn't it? As touched upon in the first half, they're a very defensive team. So good. Just going quickly back to the Barnet-Harrogate game, which was abandoned at half-time. That was at the Hive Stadium. I think it was victim of Storm Dennis again. Could we go back to you, Lewis, at the Stadio Metropolitan? No?
Divock Origi has come on for Sadio Mane. Whether that injury that he had gotten over has come back, or he's just having a bad game. I mean, he is on a yellow card, so that could be a reason, but definitely a change of tactic for Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, very much. Well, obviously, you said Origi's got lots of history, good history at that stadium, going back to last summer's Champions League final. So I'm sure he'll be looking, and I think the Liverpool fans will be looking for that to carry on as well.
Definitely.
What about you, Sam? Are there any changes at half-time?
No, teams are as they were in the first half, and Dortmund looked making a break with Haaland. No, and it's been cut out. I mean, the second half's gone. In the first couple of minutes, Dortmund were keeping the pressure, and they've been in PSG's half, and there looks to be a chance, but no, it's been cleared out. So I think that's it. Nothing so far.
Fair enough. There's a goal in Motherwell St Mirren's. That's the Scottish fifth round replay. Motherwell have scored. It's 4-2 to St Mirren. Motherwell has scored through Tony Watt. So that could be a way back into the game for them. I think there's 60 minutes gone in that game, so it's half an hour to go. So that'd be a remarkable comeback if Motherwell were to do so. Obviously, Tony Watt returning to Scottish football recently after a spell away. We got an update from Fratton Park with Billy.
Yeah, nothing significant has actually happened in since you came with me, apart from the fact that I told you about that Ollie Hawkins substitution. He came on for Ben Close early in the second half, and it looks like Portsmouth are definitely trying to go direct, as I said, to Ollie Hawkins, and they are getting some success with it. Hawkins holding the ball up and John Marquis playing off of him. It does look like Portsmouth may have the success in this second half. So yeah, still 0-0, but Portsmouth looking the better of the side, and Ollie Hawkins is certainly getting into the game.
So is it a change of formation from the 4-2-3-1 they started with?
It certainly looks like could possibly be two up front. Maybe John Marquis is playing a slightly deeper, though. He may be playing behind Hawkins, actually could potentially be. Wait, so Exeter into the box here. They have a chance to turn. Cross into the box. Comes out. Oh, great last-ditch challenge by Portsmouth, and it'll go away for an Exeter corner. But seems like every time I say Portsmouth dominating, Exeter have a chance. But I think it could still be 4-2-3-1 with Marquis playing off of the striker, possibly. Yeah. But Ollie Hawkins is certainly holding the ball up and doing well for Portsmouth. A good substitution by Kenny Jackett, it seems. So still 0-0 here at Fratton Park.
Okay, Lewis, have we started again in Madrid yet?
Yeah, kick-off has already happened. It's 47th minute. It's Liverpool all over the possession, but struggling to get a foothold. It's very scrappy. Liverpool winning the second balls, and Origi just had a good chance on the left-hand side, dribbling through a couple of players, but it amounted to nothing. Liverpool just trying to get a foothold back in this game, passing it around the back a lot, just biding their time to strike, basically. Oh, hang on. Atletico have just picked the ball up in the Liverpool's half, and hang on. We've got Morata here, free. No, that's amounted to nothing. That's just gone back to the Atletico defence.
Look like Madrid were passing the ball back there, Lewis. It looks like they don't seem too
hungry.
God, that's a goal. Wait a minute.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah, what's happening? So it's still 1-0 in that game, isn't it?
He's fumbled it. No. Okay, Liverpool come away with it. Basically, Llorente's come on, had an instant impact. He's come in and he ran into the 6-yard box, cut it back, but it amounted to nothing. He, I believe it was Morata, just fumbled his shot, and Liverpool can come away out of harm's way.
Thank you very much, Lewis. We now have Jack May on the phone with an update in the Southampton under-23s Havant game. Jack, what have you got for us?
It's more of the same, to be honest with you, Joe. It's still 2-0 here. The best chance of the half so far has gone to Saints again. Cornelius Hansen again with amazing run from the inside on his left foot, just wide this time, similar to his goal in the first half. But other than that, the Saints' game management has been brilliant. They've really made it hard for having to break them down and just beginning to close them out.
That's very good to hear. So do you think there's any way back, or is he's gone? We've lost him already. There's been another goal in the Chester Kings Lynn Town game, as Kings Lynn Town have taken a 2-1 lead in the 60th minute there. So that's them coming from behind. No, sorry, it's just going back ahead afterwards. So Sam, how's the second half started in Dortmund?
Yeah, it started off all right. Dortmund have been the better side. I must say, Dortmund actually came close to scoring. Haaland just couldn't find his feet in the box, and yeah, it was cleared. Also, they had a corner as well, which they didn't really make much of. And but yeah, it's been all Dortmund. I'm yet to see. Oh, looks like no. Dortmund were about to start a break, but it's been cut out. But yeah, it's been all Dortmund so far. We've been yet to see anything from PSG.
Fair enough. We're now going over to Louis in Madrid.
Liverpool have just had a corner. They took it short, and Fabinho played in the ball to Henderson, and his glancing header went to Wijnaldum and couldn't quite get a shot away. But Liverpool are definitely sort of kicked it up a gear in this second half. They are definitely pressing a lot harder.
So are they looking the better team so far?
Liverpool, yeah, well, I say the better team. Atletico have had the best chance of the second half, but by far Liverpool looking more dangerous with every attack.
Just going back to you now, Sam, in Dortmund, while looking at the Dortmund game.
Yeah, PSG just actually have a free kick now. Mbappe just took a knock after Hummels came in, and it looks like, say, 30 yards ish. Yeah, 30 yards out. I mean, yeah, 30 yards out from goal. So we've got, and it's been played short. Just a short one, and yeah, nothing much has happened.
Fair enough. Gillingham have just taken the lead in the other League One fixture. That's away to Southend United. When we have the goal scorer, we will let you guys know. So it looks like it's a busy start in both games. Obviously, Liverpool looking like the better team, but obviously, as you said, Madrid for the better options. What's it looking like in Fratton Park there, Billy?
Yeah, I think I've definitely got a better half of the game as you did, Joe. There's been not maybe clear-cut chances, but there certainly has been chances nonetheless. John Marquis put a shot wide, playing off of Ollie Hawkins again. That is definitely going to brew a goal in this game. I can just see it. And but Exeter from that corner when you went away from me, they had a chance by and there's been a chance. I'll let you go to Lewis. Looks like there's been a chance in Madrid game.
Yeah, go on there, Lewis. What's happened in Madrid?
Salah, he is in acres of space. Who is it plays the ball in? It's Alexander-Arnold, and Salah, he's got a free header and he can't find the target from 12 yards. He gets in between the centre-backs and, glances wide.
Should he have been doing better with that?
Yeah, he should at least be hitting the target.
Yeah, fair enough.
At the minute, it is all Liverpool.
All Liverpool. So there should be hopefully a goal coming there. Like I said, Gillingham have scored. That goal has gone to Conor Ogleth in the 67th minute. So Gillingham at the moment in that table are mid-table now. Probably about 9. It's just above Oxford, who are currently 4-0 up, as we said, at home to AFC Wimbledon. No other games, goals to talk to you about, but right now we'll go back to Billy Taylor, who is watching the game at Fratton Park.
Yeah, sorry, just before you went to Lewis there, who was watching Madrid game. Exeter did make a change. They took off Alex Fisher and brought on Seymour. So that's Exeter's first change of the game. Matty Taylor clearly not happy with what he's seeing. Portsmouth definitely dominant game, as I said. But yeah, Exeter have just made their first change. Alex Fisher, who I said got that booking and could have potentially been sent off, is now left the pitch in the 68th minute. Still 0-0 at Fratton Park.
Cheers. Is it looking like there's going to be a goal, or do you reckon it'll be straight to penalties?
See, if anyone's going to get a goal, it does look like it could be Portsmouth. Ollie Hawkins, like I said, Ollie Hawkins and Marcus's partnerships look good. Marcus Harness is causing some danger down the right. Yeah, if there's going to be a goal, I'd assume it'd be Portsmouth, but it wouldn't be surprised if this went to penalties, to be honest. And Exeter, I think they would be happy with that as it's going at the moment.
Well, there's been times, haven't there, when they've been on the break and we've been writing them off and they've almost made us eat our words. So we'll stick with you and see what happens during the game. Sam, how is it going so far?
Yeah, it's going all right. PSG are on the ball now, making some good passes in the midfield, and I'm yet to see something from PSG. It's just that midfield battle. I'd like to see more energy in the game from the wingers, Mbappe and Neymar, but I'm just yet to see something to really, make the game come alive, if you get what I mean.
So nothing to get you too excited about just yet.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, I'm sure that there's enough quality and class in the team on the pitch.
Oh, definitely.
I'll go up to Lewis now, who's again still watching the Liverpool Madrid game. Atletico Madrid.
It is all Liverpool right now. They just had a free kick on the left-hand side. Robertson's taken it short, and Alexander-Arnold has whipped it in. And Atletico are just struggling to deal with them. It is 100 miles an hour at the minute for Liverpool. Chances coming all over the place. Salah's making runs in. Is that Fabinho offside? No. Fabinho's got the ball. Firmino's in the middle. Oof. Corner to Liverpool.
Oh, Haaland. No. Sorry about that.
No, we'll go over to you anyway, Sam, and see what's piquing interest.
Yeah. Dortmund. They a ball was lifted over from the midfield of to Haaland, and Haaland just had a one-on-one chance, and against Marquinhos, which he didn't win. But Dortmund have a corner now, with Jadon Sancho ready to take it. But it's just end-to-end stuff. But I'm leaning towards Dortmund now because it looks like they're the ones that's gonna maybe get a goal in this game.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I think there's some action over at Fratton Park. Billy Taylor, what's happened?
Yeah, it feels like it's destined not to be in a goal in this match at the moment, Joe. Marcus Harness was running down the wing. He got the cross into the box, and there was a queue of Portsmouth players in the box just ready to tap it in. Ollie Hawkins smashed it towards goal with the outside of his boot, but Ward got there and a brilliant reaction save. And Exeter living dangerously here. It just, as he tipped it, but it just missed Marquis, who was there following it up. But Portsmouth really got to take one of these chances now because they are certainly dominating the game. And is there going to be a goal in this game? I certainly hope there is, Joe. But still 0-0 here, yeah.
Thank you very much. There's been a goal, it's been 2 goals actually. There's been a goal at Barrow in the game in the National League between Barrow and Dover, and there's also been a goal in the Havant game. And we're going to quickly go over to Jack in a minute to see how that game's going on. But Lewis, obviously, as you said, they're going all over. Liverpool are all over them. Anything? Are they looking like they're going to whip hand, stand the pressure?
Oh gosh, Liverpool are going to break the deadlocks. Going to level the score soon. Atletico are shook, honestly. Whereas in the first half, Lodi and Vrsaljko, they were really solid, and but now Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, the best change was Origi. He is finding acres of space on the left and the right hand side, definitely making the front three much more fluid. Atletico are just struggling. They're just taking no risks with their clearance. They're not passing. They're just booting the ball up straight back to Alisson, and then the attack starts again.
Fair enough. So you think Origi has changed the game?
Fully, yeah. He has made such an impact.
So is it looking like there's going to be any more goals coming? No, any more substitutions coming in the near future?
Sorry. Was that for me or was that for Lewis?
Well, that was for Lewis. But
sorry, you looked at me. You're gone, Lewis. Sorry.
Yeah, none that I can see at the minute. I think the next one will be sort of in around 10 minutes or so, just because Liverpool are in a really good spell of possession at the minute. Chances come in, but they need to take their chances.
So we're going to quickly go over to Jack Mayo now and see he's going to give us an update on the game. Jack, what's happening?
Yeah, 3-0 here at the Snow Stadium, Joe. Lovely intricate play down the right-hand side from Southampton. It's cross across the box to Romello Mitchell, who finishes tidily, nice and easy in the 6-yard box. 3-0, and I think that's game set match here.
Okay, do you reckon that's game over? Yeah, game over, of course, you say.
Hang on. I think
what's happened?
There's a free kick on the edge of the 18-yard for Havant. But for me personally, Joe, I think that's game here.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Jack. So that's just to recap. That is 3-0 to Southampton. There's been a goal in Oxford City as well. Oxford City has gone 2-1 up. Hopefully you should be able to speak to Wes soon about that one. So Billy, apart from obviously we've just seen that big chance there, anything else due coming there at Fratton Park?
Yeah, that was big. Obviously, I said that was that big chance. Exeter have made their second substitution in the game. Lee Martin was replaced by Randall Williams. Randall Williams has scored recently. He's not on bad form. He scored obviously away at Swindon Town not too long ago. But Exeter have just made their second jump, and it looks like who has gone down injured there? Sorry, an Exeter player has just gone down injured. No, I think he's going to be okay. Yeah, carry on. So Randall Williams has replaced Lee Martin here for Exeter. So both sides have made 2 changes. Exeter really struggling to get a foothold in this game. Like I said, 15 minutes to go plus stoppage time. Portsmouth in control, but still 0-0 here at Fratton Park.
Yeah, and if needed, obviously that game will go straight to penalties. And like I said, I'm sure they'll be all looking forward to that sort of thing. I think there's been another goal in Havant versus Southampton under 23s. It's 3-1 there to Southampton. I've got Jack Mayo on the line to talk us through that one now. Jack, what's happened? Jack?
Yep, the free kick I was just telling you about earlier, Joe. It's scored by Beckworth. It's now 3-1, and I think I might be a victim of the commentator's curse.
Cheers. Thank you very much, Jack. We'll come back to you if there's anything else just anymore. So going to that, obviously we've got a Scottish Cup game, 5th round replay. St Mirren were 4-1 up. Motherwell have currently scored again, so it's 4-3 to St Mirren. So Motherwell are looking to make a comeback. There's 15 minutes left of that one. That could be quite a remarkable comeback if that is to come back. We will quickly go back over to Lewis now and see what's going on at the Atletico Madrid game. What's up, Lewis?
Yeah, Robertson's played a over-the-top through ball into Origi, and Oblak, he is in absolute no man's land. If only Origi could have done better with his first touch. It went out for a goal kick to Atletico, but Origi is making a heck of an impact down the left-hand side as he goes in. No, that's a goal kick to Atletico, but he is making such an impact. And Joe Gomez has just got booked for a challenge on Morata. Came in sliding from behind, and yeah, it looks a nasty one. But Atletico should try and exploit the booking for one of their centre-backs, one of Liverpool's centre-backs.
Fair enough, that's all well and good. We'll quickly over to Billy Taylor now. What's happening there at Fratton Park?
Yeah, no, I just thought to tell you, just looks like Collins is getting stripped off on the bench for Exeter City. It looks like that'll be their final change. Obviously, I don't know who he will come on for, but yeah, Collins is getting stripped to come on for Exeter. That'll be Matty Taylor's final change by the looks of it. Also, Portsmouth did just have another chance. Marcus Harness picking up the ball for about 20 yards from goal, shifting it onto his right foot and dragging it just wide of the far post. But yeah, as I said, it seems like every update seems to be the same. Still 0-0. Portsmouth will have a free kick about 30 yards from goal, but it looks like it's one that's going to be crossed into the box. But yeah, come back to me if there's a goal, but seems like Portsmouth are just going to keep missing their chances next to
destined
they're
to be
hang
goalless.
On. It's destined to be goalless, it looks like, Joe.
Well, I haven't just said about Motherwell, they have scored twice in 1 minute. It's now 4-4. Rolando Aarons, Max Aarons' cousin of Norwich, of course, he's played for Newcastle, scored the first one, and then Campbell again, so it's 4-4 there in the FA Cup round play. But we'll go back to Billy Taylor now. What's happened, Billy?
Sorry, just from that free kick, there was a penalty claim. It looked like that. As you can imagine, at Fratton Park, vice the atmosphere, everyone was jumping up, claiming it. All the Portsmouth players had their hand up. John Marquis, the ball got knocked down to John Marquis. It looked like he was going to get his shot away, and then he just seemed to fall to the floor. Maybe he got his ankle clipped, but I haven't seen a replay yet. But yeah, they all claim for a penalty. But here I go. Williams for Exeter has just ran the pitch. Ooh, Exeter's have picked up the ball. I think it was Williams, the substitute, who came on, ran from the right, picked it all down the right wing, came and cut in across the pitch, ran across the pitch, then he got a shot away about 20 yards from goal on his left foot, and it was cleared behind for a corner. So now Exeter have a corner. But yeah, Portsmouth had a big penalty shout, and John Marquis seemed to definitely think he was clipped there.
We'll stay with you and see what happens at the corner. But like I said, with the fifth round replay in the Scottish Cup, it's 4-4 now. But there's another goal as well. Brackley Town have scored against Southport.
Goal! Exeter have scored. Sorry to interrupt you there, Joe. Exeter have scored. They are 1-0 up. It is Taylor, the captain, who looks like he has scored. The ball came in from the corner. It just caused mayhem in the box. It bounced around. No one was able to deal with it. The keeper, Bass, looked like he had a bit of a nightmare. I'm going to see the replay in a minute. And it came back out to about 12, 15 yards from goal. And he has volleyed, smashed it into the far corner. So now it is... it's 1-0 to Exeter, but come back to me when I see the replay.
We'll come back to you in just a bit. We've got Wes on the line here now at Oxford. Wes, what's happened?
Well, it's good news for the home side as substitute Nana Owusu, after only 20 minutes on the pitch, scoring with the help of Benyon in the 73rd minute. Another substitute for Oxford on now, and it's Yanni Gordon coming onto the pitch. Nearly 80 minutes gone here at Court Place Farm, and Oxford City lead 2-1.
Cheers, thank you very much, Wes. So we'll go back to you, Billy, as well. So give us a bit more on the goal. Who scored it again, sorry?
So it was Jordan Moore-Taylor, by looks of it, for Exeter. Not Jordan Moore-Taylor. It was Jake Taylor in midfield, side of midfielder. Exeter have quite a plethora of Taylors, it seems. Yeah, it was Jake Taylor who scored the goal. It came out, it was corner across the box. Bass just didn't deal with it, the Portsmouth goalkeeper. Like I said, Portsmouth were the team who were completely dominant before. But it comes out to Jake Taylor. He volleys it into the far right-hand corner. Very cool, composed finish with lots of people running at him to try and put him off. So it's 1-0 here to Exeter. About 11 minutes left to go at Fratton Park. And could that be the goal that sends Exeter to Wembley? It certainly looks like it could be.
Well, we'll keep up to date with you on that one. We've got a few more goals that have gone around the rounds today. Chester City, Chester Football Club have gone 2-2 against Kings Lynn Town. So that's the second time that they've come back from a goal down to equalised. And Brackley Town versus Southport, that's currently 1-0 Lee Nudvalu has just scored in the 77th minute for them. We'll go over to Sam now and see what's happening at the Dortmund versus PSG game.
Yeah, Dortmund have just had a chance. It was Ashraf Hakimi. He's just taken a shot from 20 yards and just skied over the post, over the crossbar. It looks like, and Dortmund gonna make a change as well with Thorgan Hazard going off and Giovanni Reina is coming on, making his debut this season. So on the other side, Mbappe's just had a shot saved from the goalkeeper, and it's just a bit of end-to-end stuff really.
Cheers, thank you very much. Who do you reckon is going to look more likely to score a goal if there is to be one?
If there is to be one, I think Dortmund look like the likely winners of this one to get the first goal, but we've still got over 20 just out of 20 minutes to go.
Still plenty to fight for. What about you, Lewis? What's going on in your game?
Yeah, Correa's just gone in for a 50-50 with Fabinho and has come off a lot worse. And the camera just cut to Diego Costa warming up, so I feel his introduction may be imminent. At the minute, it's still all Liverpool. It's 90% of the 90% of the play has been done in the Liverpool attacking third. Atletico just can't sort of clear their lines, and they are just struggling now. They're getting a bit of possession in Liverpool's half, but it's one of the few spells of possession that they've had in the second half.
Goal! Goal!
I believe there's a goal in the Dortmund game, and Sam's almost giving me a heart attack. Sam, what's happened there?
Nah. It's Haaland. It's Haaland with the tap in. Yeah, it started with Hakimi down on the right hand side. Great play. Sancho was involved as well, and Hakimi just played a lovely ball into the PSG penalty area, and it was that man again, Haaland, and he's just smashed it past the goalkeeper. As for defenders, no one. Is there a call for offside? No, it was onside. There's no call for offside, but yeah, it was Haaland. Haaland was there again, and he's just put his goal in, and that's 9 Champions League goals for Erling Haaland, and Dortmund are 1-0 up.
So there's no way that's going to get ruled off for anything, is it?
No, it's a clear goal.
Clear goal. So that's 1-0 at Borussia Dortmund against PSG. So I'll quickly go through the fixtures now, just to give everyone a round up. Madrid still leading 1-0 after that 4th-minute goal from Saul Niguez against Liverpool. Dortmund, as we just heard from Sam, 1-0 up here. Motherwell St Mirren, that's 4-4 in the Scottish Cup replay. Motherwell have had a fantastic comeback. Goal to Oxford as well. Oxford 4-0 up. I'm sure Jack will be very pleased with that, despite the fact I am not. Southend United are 1-0 down to Gillingham. Macclesfield Town are still 1-0 up at home to Plymouth, which is a very big result at the top of League 2. There's 10 minutes to go in that game. And Exeter that's still 1-0 to Exeter in the EFL Trophy semi-final. But is it still looking like it could be? Is there another goal in this game, do you think, or is it still going to be?
If there's going to be another goal, I'd suggest it was Portsmouth's, but then again, I said Portsmouth were going to win this game, and Exeter are currently 1-0 up. Update on substitutions: Exeter did they make that final change in the end? It was Nicky Law replaced by Hutch Collins. He did come on in the end. Yeah, so 1-0 to Exeter here still. They're looking like they're going to definitely try and see the game out, but Portsmouth have still had a couple of snapshots from the edge of the area. So it's definitely not over. Once Exeter have a ball in the box, wouldn't surprise me if I got it wrong again. No, it is cleared. But it's still Exeter City 1, Portsmouth 0, and Exeter are just over 5 minutes away from possibly going to Wembley.
Fair enough. Plymouth Argyle have just equalised in the 84th minute there in that League 2 fixture. There's still 5 minutes to go on that, but we're going to go to Lewis now, who's watching the Madrid-Liverpool game. What's going on there?
Atletico are having their best spell of the game so far, besides sort of when they scored their first goal. They've just had a golden opportunity. Felipe has played a long ball forward down the left-hand side to Llorente, who squared it across to Morata, who is free from 12 yards. He should be hitting the target. He's slipped and the ball has blazed over the crossbar. Absolutely shocking from him.
Fair enough. We've got another goal in the league as well. Alfreton Town have scored. It's 1-0 against Leamington. Leamington went down to 10 men in 8 minutes, but it's taken them over 18 minutes to try and get that goal, which they have got now. We've now got Stephen here with some socials. Hi, Stephen.
Well, basically, I found an interesting stat that Saúl's goal is the first goal of this decade in the Champions League. So it's the first goal of the 2020s. First goal of the 2010s was Ronaldinho. 2000s was Kačković. Then some people are complaining on Twitter that Van Dijk is overrated, and he had a bit of a shit first half, to be honest. His fellow countryman Ruud Gullit criticized the Dutchman as well by saying he has had a nightmare and he's playing very clumsy. He did this during a broadcast at BeIN Sport, and people are feeling Van Dijk is a bit overrated, actually. Then we go over to the PSG Dortmund game, and fans are complaining about the tactics that coach Thomas Tuchel is playing. They don't blame Mbappé or Neymar, who basically both have been invisible during the game, but they're blaming the tactics because they feel that both star players are being isolated on the pitch. And Neymar is doing a bit of diving again, and he had a bad foul on Witsel, which some people on Twitter feel should have been a red card. And they feel maybe he does it, it's an obvious foul because the second leg is playing on the 11th of March, and it's his sister's birthday, which he has missed a game on for the last 6 seasons.
Cheers. Thank you very much, Stephen. We're going to go back to Billy now, who's watching the game at Fratton
sorry
Park.
to
I think it's
interrupt you,
another
Stephen.
goal.
There has been actually another goal at Fratton Park. And this time I was right. It was Marcus Harness who was equalised up for Portsmouth. Looks like this game could be going to penalties. It came from John Marquis had the ball. He backheeled it into the path of Ronan Curtis. He ran through on goal. He had his shot. He slid it under the Exeter keeper. I think it was Parks who was there to clear. But Marcus Harness followed it and just absolutely thumped it into the back of the net. So that's Portsmouth 1, Exeter 1 with not too long to go. That is Marcus Harness' 7th goal of the season. Yeah, so Portsmouth 1, Exeter 1. Typical that it happens when we're on the socials, doesn't it?
Yeah, okay. So that's 5 minutes to go, and there's 1-1 there on that game that's obviously going to send one of them to a never final. As we said, Portsmouth are the holders. Again, apologies to Stephen, who we did cut off there, but thank you very much for the socials. Apologies for any bad language that you may have heard. Let's go over to you, Lewis. What's happening at the Madrid, Atletico Madrid Liverpool game?
Lodi has had a chance from 30 yards, and it has Alisson beat, and it just glances wide. Would have been an outstanding goal. And Salah has just come off for Oxlade-Chamberlain, so maybe a change of tactic for Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp's side. At the minute, though, Atletico are definitely getting back into the... Oh, no, Henderson has just had a shot from the penalty area from around 12 or 13 yards, and it has just glanced wide. Origi has flicked the ball in, and first time finish, Henderson just hits it wide. So there looks like there's another goal in this game as of yet.
Who do you think's going to get that goal?
It's hard to tell at the minute because, like I say, Liverpool are holding the possession and getting in behind the lines now, but Atletico are countering rather well. So who knows?
Cheers, thank you very much. So as we said, Oxford are 4-0 up in that League One game at home to Wimbledon. It's 4-0 up. I believe we got Jack Sale on the phone now. 5 minutes to go, a few minutes to go in that game. Not just yet. I do apologise for that, jumping the gun a little bit too early. We'll go over to you, Billy, see what's happening at Fratton Park.
Yeah, so obviously, as I said, Portsmouth equalised, made it 1-1. A minute and a half to go with plus stoppage time, possibly. Exeter currently have the... Oh my God, it's a goal! It's a goal! Exeter have scored! Exeter have scored, they're 2-1 up. Exeter looks like they're going to Wembley. Who was that across the box? Who crossed it into the box? It was it could possibly be an own goal by the looks of it. Exeter have crossed it into the box, and a Portsmouth defender's diverted into his own net. It's Randall who scored. Randall who crossed the ball, and Portsmouth scored. Yeah, come back to me in a moment. I'll have more of you in a minute. But it looks like Exeter are going to Wembley.
We'll do. And I'll go over now to you, Sam, watching the PSG versus Dortmund game. What's going on there?
Yeah, we've seemed to got a goal, and it's Neymar for PSG. Yep. It's Mbappe. It was Mbappe down the right, with his pace and just getting past players. He beats 2 defenders. First it was Zagadou and then Hummels, and then he sees Neymar in the box, and then he slots the ball. He just rifles the ball into the roof of the net, and it's now 1-1, game 1 with 15 minutes to go.
Fantastic. We'll keep up to date with you for that one. So just to recap, that's 1-1 in the Dortmund versus PSG game at the Signal Iduna Park. Atletico Madrid is currently 1 up against Liverpool after their 5th minute goal via Saul Niguez. But like we said, we'll go back to Billy Taylor now, where Exeter have retaken the lead. A few minutes to go. It's 2-1, and the winner of this obviously gets the date of the cup final at Wembley for the EFL Trophy. Talk us through the goal.
Yeah, so it's just heading into the 90th minute now. Chance of K Sarah from the Exeter fans, I am sure. So basically the goal, Randall picked up the ball on the left-hand side. He crossed it into the box. It went into the box. Christian Burgess was the Portsmouth defender who slid in and diverted it into the far right-hand corner, past his own goalkeeper. The keeper had no chance. Unlucky for Burgess too, but very desperate defending, seems, with tired legs at the end, because obviously it's been a well-contested game. But plus 5 minutes we got here in stoppage time, but it looks like Exeter are going to decide going to Wembley against the run of play for most part. But fair play to them, they stuck in the game, and now they are 2-1 up, and it looks like Exeter are decided if it will be going to Wembley. I'm sure Kenny Jackett will be disappointed with this.
Yeah, I'm sure. So it looks like Exeter have booked that spot on the Sunday the 5th of April to see it. So Portsmouth looking like they will not be retaining their title. We are going to go over to Sam now and see what's happening at Dortmund versus PSG, where obviously PSG just equalised. What's going on there?
Well, there's been a real change of events now, and Dortmund have gone in front again, and it's Haaland.
It's that man again, is it?
It's that man again, Haaland. I'm not quite sure how the goal came about, but just having some trouble watching.
Okay, but whilst you, quickly get on about, we're going to go over to Billy Taylor now.
Exeter aren't going to Wembley, not so yet. Portsmouth have made it 2-2, and I'm sorry, the camera has just panned to the Fratton end at Fratton Park, and the only way to describe it is absolute bedlam at the Fratton end.
Absolute limbs.
Absolute limbs, scenage. Cameron, oh my word, what a goal! Cameron McGeehan has picked up the ball inside the D, 20 yards from goal. He's cut it onto his left foot. Is it a chip? Is it a long range shot? But all I know is it's gone in the back of the in off the crossbar. Exeter look devastated. Fratton Park is bouncing. Portsmouth still could be going to Wembley, and what a goal in the big moment. Cameron McGeehan, you've stood up, and it is 2-2 here at Fratton Park. The goals have come flying in, Joe.
Cameron McGeehan was the player of the round in the quarterfinals, and obviously he's replicated that form here with an absolute wonder goal. How long's left in that game, is it?
It's the 92nd minute. We're 2 minutes into the stop zone, so there should be 3 minutes to go. And to be honest, I don't want to say who's going to Wembley anymore, Joe. Just come back to me when there's more goals, because I'm sure there will be.
There we go. We'll go over to Sam again. Sorry for cutting you off there, Sam. Let us know what happened.
Yeah, sorry. It was Erling Haaland. I'm not actually sure how the goal came about, but Dortmund are in front through Haaland again, and that's 10 goals in 7 games in the Champions League for Haaland now, which puts him tied with Robert Lewandowski in this season's Champions League.
Very good, thank you for that, Sam. We'll keep you updated. Well, we'll keep everyone updated with what's going on there. Like I said, it's 2-1 for Borussia Dortmund against PSG. There's been a 5th goal at Oxford Stadium. That's into the last minute. We'll speak to Jack in a bit, hopefully with an end roundup if there's any more goals. But that's 5-0 to Oxford United at AFC Wimbledon. So that's a real turn of the book. Obviously, they've only got 1 win in 2020. I'm going to go with it. They've won tonight. If they score 6 goals tonight, then fair play AFC Wimbledon. Lewis, we're going to go over to you. What's happening at Madrid versus Liverpool?
Yeah, Diego Costa has just made his appearance. He came on for Correa, and it looks like Henderson is down injured. Fabinho signalled to the bench for him for a substitution to be made. So could be some concerns for Liverpool in the league and in the Champions League for the next leg. Because Henderson, captain, big part of the team in that midfield. If he comes off injured, it could be bad for Liverpool. Thank
you very much, Lewis. We've now got Jack on the line here. Jack, so we've got a few more goals there, and is it half to full time just yet?
Yeah, whistle's just gone. The only other goal to report was Matty Taylor in stoppage time. James Henry with a sumptuous ball in, and Taylor just applied the finishing touch, put the icing on the cake for a brilliant night for Oxford. So it was goals in the first half from Taylor and Nathan Holland. Holland added his second in the second half. There was also a goal for James Henry before Taylor added the 5th in stoppage time. Oxford will look to rise up the table now after this performance. They go to Ipswich on Saturday, and we're able to take players off like Marcus Brown. Mark Sykes also taken off to rest up for the big game at the weekend.
Cheers, thank you very much for that one, Jack. We've also got another. It's all 4 times coming in now. We've got Southend United versus Gillingham. That is gone. That's 1-0 to Gillingham in that game. Bath City have just scored in the last few minutes. So it's 2-0 against Maidstone now. Macclesfield Town versus Plymouth Argyle. That's a big result. That's 1-1. That can be a very good result for other teams at the top of that table. So that leaves them 4th, having now played the game in hand. That's a great result. Macclesfield Town, obviously a point for them is done them good. They've gone up the table from 22nd. We've got full time as well at the game between Oxford and Dorking. That's 2-1. I'm sure we'll get Wes at some point to talk about that one. The Motherwell St Mirren game, which was St Mirren 4-1 up at one point. That's now 4-4, and that's gone to extra time after a sensational comeback, 2 goals in 1 minute. There's another goal as well. Brackley Town versus Southport. Southport have just equalised. I've now got Jack Mayo on the phone.
There's been a goal for Southport! Oh, sorry, Joe.
There is. We're going to quickly go over.
Sorry, Joe. There's been a goal for Southport. It's John Marquis. People say they don't care about this competition. People say Wembley is a goner. People say people don't care about getting to Wembley. Well, I can tell you, Portsmouth Football Club care. John Marquis has given it the Conor McGregor dance. He's celebrating. Fratton Park has gone absolutely mental. Across into the back post. I'll give you more when I see the replay. I've lost it in translation. But Marquis has he's rised at the back post. He's headed it down into the goal. It's Portsmouth 3, Exeter 2, and I can say it now. Portsmouth are on their way to Wembley.
Well, that's excellent. I'm very envious of the half you got to watch and the half I got to watch. Yeah. But obviously, I'm very glad that result's coming through just there. So that's confirmation of that goal there. It's full time in Southampton under 23 against Havant. I've got Jack May on the line now. Jack, what's happened?
Full time here at the Snow Stadium, Joe. 3-1 to Southampton. There was a good chance just right at the end of the game where a lovely ball out from the right into Chris Paul for Havant, and it was saved onto the crossbar by Tommy Scott, who's been brilliant when called upon. But yeah, full time here with on another day, I think Havant would have gone away with a draw or maybe a win had they taken their chances. But Saints were much more clinical today, and I think that's what got them what they deserved, a win, and their game management has been brilliant.
Super. Thank you very much, Jack. We're going to go quickly over to Billy again now. How's the heart rate? Is it settling back down now?
Settling back down. I'm sorry, I think I missed the replay as well, but I believe it was a cross from Marcus Harness into the back post for that goal. It was and then John Marquis was at the back post. And is that the full time? I think the full time whistle has gone. Portsmouth have sealed their place at Wembley. They have beaten Exeter City by 3-2. An absolutely mental second half, goal swinging. It looked like I said, Portsmouth were the dominant side and probably did deserve it in the end. Exeter took the lead before Portsmouth equalised, but then Exeter took the lead again 2-1, and then Portsmouth with 2 goals in 90 plus minutes. There was 4 goals in the space of 10 minutes in this match. But it was John Marquis who has sealed the fate of Exeter City and has taken Portsmouth to Wembley. And as I said, people say people don't care about this competition, but I have just seen a game of two sides who really care. Exeter players with their head in their hands, and Portsmouth fans bouncing around Fratton Park. It may not be European football against AC Milan, but Fratton Park is bouncing as ever, and Portsmouth are going to Wembley.
There we go. That's excellent news. We're back to you again soon for a bit of after the kick, after full time. Now we're going to go over to Lucas Stoneham now. Here we go, Luke. Luke, what's happened?
Well, what's happened is Bashley have upset AFC Stoneham, the league leaders, coming into the game. Stoneham were the favourites, at Bashley, with 2 bits of individual brilliance, 2 long-range goals, have sealed a win against the odds.
Sweet as, thank you very much. We've got some more full times coming around. Like I said, Oxford City have finished 2-1 against Dorking. Portsmouth, that game's full time now. As you said, absolute scenes. As you said before, like the change of the competition there is boycotts and stuff. It's under 21 teams, but when it gets down to the nitty gritty at the end of it, you got Portsmouth 3, Exeter 2. As you say, absolute limbs, bedlam in the back, in the front and end. Don't need penalties. This is what football's all about. This is what you need, and it's just excellent. Just talk us through the goal if you've seen it again.
Yeah, I believe so. It was. I'm just seeing that Exeter fans are applauding their. They travelled well. They're applauding their players off of the pitch. They put in a valiant effort. Exeter. It was a tough game against higher league opposition away at Fratton Park. And to be fair, they took the lead twice. They'd be disappointed they didn't win it. It was pretty last ditch defending to try and stop both of Portsmouth's goals, and Portsmouth did deserve it in the end. But yeah, it was Harness, I believe, crossed it into box. There was literally no one on Marquis. Parks lost his man, and Marquis there nodded it in. Caused absolute bedlam at Fratton Park, as I said. But this competition can provide games like this, Joe. This competition, I wish the under-23 aspect would be taken out of it, because the under-23s, you don't get fans travelling to under-23 games, unless they're Leeds United, to go to these sort of games. But when it's proper fans, when it's proper football, Every League One and League Two club dreams of going to Wembley. And Portsmouth, I know they were there last year. I know they're the holders.
It's their third year now, isn't it? Or third time in a year.
Yeah, I know they've been there before, but it still doesn't matter as less. Wembley is the home of English football, and Portsmouth will be there for that final.
I'm sure they'll be looking for back-to-back again. We now got on the line Wes, who's at Oxford here. Wes, hi Wes. It's 4-time now, I believe. What's the final score?
The final score here at Court Place Farm is Oxford City 2, Dorking 1. Oxford City move up to 10th in the National League South, overtaking Hemel Hempstead today, getting 3 points. Goals from Zach McEachran and Nana Owusu for Oxford City. 1 goal for Dorking, James McShane in the 39th minute, costing me 60 quid, as I said earlier. But a fairly good game, a very aggressive game from both sides looking to attack fairly harshly. But again, a fairly evenly matched second half. But Oxford City just about coming ahead, as there were chances for both sides in the second half, including one that went off the crossbar for Dorking Wanderers very late into the game. But the final score here at Marsh Lane, Court Place Farm, Oxford City 2, Dorking Wanderers 1.
Thank you very much for that one, Wes. A few more 4 times now. Chester City, it's finished 3-2 Chester against Kings Lynn Town, and they didn't lead until the 92nd minute when Simon Graham popped up just before the end of the game. So that's 3-2 final score in Chester City. That's in the National League North, and they obviously come back there, and that's 4-time now. Barrow have beaten Dover 1-0 in the National League as well. So that's all good, well and good. But obviously in all the drama, we've forgotten about the Champions League. So we'll go over to you now. I'll start with you, Lewis. What's happening? Can you replicate any of the joys and stuff we've been through just yet?
Not quite, I'm afraid. At the minute, it's just very end-to-end. Liverpool are getting into some great space, and their final product just is not up to scratch. Not like the Liverpool we're usually seeing. Atletico are having some good chances, though, getting in behind. I feel like the presence of Diego Costa has just rocked the Liverpool back four, and just the fact that he's on the pitch has just changed their mentality. The camera cut to Jurgen Klopp, and he literally he looked astounded. Like he after a failed Alexander-Arnold cross that went skyrocketing over the 18-yard box, Klopp just looks sort of mesmerised. I don't think he's seen his team have such a bad sort of final product as this. At the minute, Atletico are soaking up the pressure really well and are still. I don't think you can rule Atletico out getting another goal on the counter attack. Because even Van Dijk is sort of 25 yards out on the Liverpool attacking side. So there's a lot of space opening up in behind for Atletico to counter if they would. And Vitolo came on for, I believe it was Morata, because he sort of came off a bit injured. So they're still bringing on attacking options. So they may be wanting to kill the tie off in the dying sort of seconds of the game.
How much longer have we got to go in that game?
We've got another couple of minutes plus stoppage time. There's been a couple of injuries, so I think probably get another 4 minutes of injury time, but I'll confirm that when it's been said. But you've got Diego Simeone. He is just telling his players to calm down, but he's also rifling the fans up. He wants this place as hostile as possible, I think, for the travelling Liverpool team.
Cheers, thank you very much. And over to you now, Sam, in the Dortmund versus PSG game at this evening in the stadium. What's happening there?
Yeah, Dortmund are just about to have a free kick on the edge of the box. Jadon Sancho's going off, and coming on to replace him is Marcel Spelzer. Before that, Dortmund had a chance to make it 3-1. Haaland, Sancho, they were combining together to release Ashraf Hakimi on the right hand side, and he's just his efforts just skimmed past the post, and also Thomas Meunier and Verratti for PSG, they've both been booked on challenges on Dortmund players and will therefore miss the second leg. But yeah, nothing much has happened, and it looks like, well, we've got 2 minutes added on, and it looks like Dortmund are going to win this game and take something to Paris in a few weeks' time.
Well, that's very good. Obviously, PSG have got an away goal, so that could prove
Yes.
crucial.
Yes,
later on. But obviously,
yeah.
as you said, well, we've touched on throughout the whole game. There is firepower in this game. They've obviously not fired. Well, Haaland obviously has scored twice, but you'd expect a lot more from a lot more players.
Yeah, definitely.
But that'll be interesting to see what happens in Paris in a few weeks' time. We'll go back to you again, Lewis. How much longer has been added on at Madrid? Or is it not just yet?
It hasn't shown up just yet, but I will let you know. But space is opening up for both teams now, as it's very end to end. A lot of long balls being sort of flown up the pitch. A lot of tackles, a lot of harsh tackles going in as well. You've just got Milner flying in on Llorente, I believe it was, sort of leaving him rolling around on the floor. So yeah, it's a bit of an aggressive sort of end to the game, I think. And we've got 4 minutes of added time. So. Yeah, like predicted, 4 minutes. Will Liverpool snatch an equaliser? I think they just need to improve their final product, to be honest. They're getting in the space, but they're just not doing anything with it.
Yes, that would be a crucial away goal. We're going to go back over to you, Sam, who's watching the PSG Dortmund game. What's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, 2 minutes is almost up. Paris Saint-Germain were just making some plays down the left-hand side, and Marquinhos on the edge of the box, he just had his shot going wide, and and now following a corner, and the final whistle has gone in this game, and Dortmund have won 2-1 with goals from Haaland twice, and Neymar taking the reply for the Parisians. But it's Dortmund who are celebrating tonight. But then, as you said, Paris do have the away goal, which could prove important in the second leg in a few weeks to come.
Cheers, thank you very much for that one, Sam. I'll go back over to you now, Lewis. Obviously watching the Atletico Madrid-Liverpool game and Madrid. What's going on there?
Yeah, speaking of the counter-attacking opportunities for both teams, Atletico Madrid have just gone 3-on-2 against Van Dijk and Gomez, and Diego Costa from around 25 yards. I'm not sure what he's doing, but he just snatches at his shot, and in the end he sort of screws it wide. And so yeah, the counter-attacking opportunity is still there as Oblak kicks the ball up from a goal kick, and Diego Costa's just making his presence known. He went sort of square with Van Dijk earlier, just leaving, just mentally he's just leaving a little bit on every Liverpool player, I feel, as they try and march an attack now with Robertson down the left hand side. But no, that don't amount to anything, and it is just with Gomez and Van Dijk. They're just knocking it around the back now, trying to break this strong Atletico defence.
Sweet as, thank you very much. We'll quickly run through some of the final scores. So in the Liverpool League One, obviously we had Oxford United. They won 5-0 at home to AFC Wimbledon. Our very own Jack Hill was there, and I'm sure he'll be very happy on the train back down here. Southend United lost at home to Gillingham, 1-0. Macclesfield Town drew with Plymouth, 1-1 in a very important game in the top League Two. That sorted out the mighty Swindon Town perfectly in their game in hand, so they still remain top. Plymouth currently sat 4th, and Macclesfield have moved up from 23rd to 22nd. That's on goal difference, but they are creeping away and clear from that relegation zone. In the EFL Trophy, of course, I watched the very tedious first half and then passed it over to Billy, who then watched an incredible second half where it was 3-2 to send Portsmouth to Wembley to look to try and get back-to-back titles there. As like I said, their third trip to Wembley in a year. And then in the National League, Barnet Harrogate was abandoned halfway through the game. It was 1-1 at the time. Storm Dennis proved to be a victim of another game. Barrow were 1-0 away to Dover Athletic as well. That's very good. Barrow obviously top the league, and they're still 7 points clear at this time. Dover, of course, where were they? They are 9th now. And then obviously in the National League North, we've got a few full times as well. Brackley Town and Southport was 1-1. Chester 3, Kinsling 2 was a final score as well. Chester led for only a few minutes. Alfreton Town are currently 1-0 against Leamington. That's still going on. There's a few minutes left on that one. Maidstone United lost 2-0 at home to Bath City. Oxford City, where our very own Wes Spearman was watching, it was 2-1 to Oxford against Dorking. And then in the Scottish League One, Falkirk finished 2-0 up against East Fife. And then we've also got the extra time of the 5th round replay of the Scottish Cup. Motherwell fought St Mirren after their remarkable comeback in the second half. I think there's the last minute now at the Madrid-Liverpool game. We'll go over to Lewis and see what's happened there, if anything's happening at all.
The full-time whistle has just gone. Atletico managed to hold on. Liverpool, they didn't have a lot in their locker, to be honest. They couldn't break down that strong Atletico defence, and they've going into the second leg a goal down. So Atletico held on, and were having a lot of the better possession sort of towards the end of the game. So instead of just sitting back, they actually went and tried to snatch a second as well, sort of to catch Liverpool out.
Well, obviously Liverpool don't have an away goal, which could prove costly in the second leg. What do you think is going to happen in the second leg? I think it's about a month's time, isn't it?
I think it's going to be a lot different. I think you're going to see a much more, well, depending on how things go in the games in between, I feel like you're going to see Liverpool come back a lot stronger from this. And
I was going to say Liverpool are in the position now when they're so far forward in the league that they can rest players and then just be really up for it.
Yeah, I can imagine you're going to see, depending on how much they want to go invincible in the league, I feel like you're going to see some of the youth teams that have made, some of the youth players that have made appearances in like the EFL Cup sort of turn up in the league and get their league debuts, for sure.
Very good. And with Sam, obviously, the game finished 2-1 there. Haaland scored twice, Neymar for PSG. So what are you thinking about for the second leg? Do you think, obviously, that, as you said, PSG got that all-important away goal. Do you think that's going to be crucial? Do you think PSG can claim it in the second leg?
Yeah, I mean, when you have a home advantage, you'd want the crowd behind you. But I think this game, PSG, I didn't see much. There was energy, but there wasn't really a lot of energy. But for me, Haaland was by far, he was the best player in the game and he's got the 2 goals. But Dortmund, I don't think Dortmund should sit back in the second leg, but despite having the extra goal. So we'll see what goes on. As for PSG, I think as they now have the home advantage, I think they will want to really they will want to really get out quicker at the blocks, because I think that was the thing in this game. But I think just getting better in the next game. Yeah,
it just seems like Haaland can't stop scoring, can he? Do you think there's any way he can stop him apart from breaking his legs? Isn't it what you suggest?
Honestly, I don't know. When you've got these rising stars like Mbappe and Haaland, I mean, I think Haaland has a bright future ahead of him. I want to see. I mean, I don't know if we're gonna get this, but maybe we want to see more. Maybe there could be like a battle between Mbappe and Haaland, but we're yet to see what's gonna happen.
Cheers, thank you very much. I think that wraps all up from us here. Thank you very much to all of our reporters today, out and about in every stadium. We've had our pundits, thank you very much. So everyone, Regan, we've had George, we've got Sam and then Billy, obviously, of course. Very well, very well done for getting the best half of the game as well. Very well protected this morning, this first half. Thank you very much to Lewis as well. So obviously we've got the Champions League comes back again tomorrow night. We obviously have Portsmouth come back in an absolute wonderful game. Thank you very much for listening, guys. We've been Solent Sports News. Thank you very much for following. You can follow us on Twitter at Solent Sports News, funny enough, and you can keep up to date on our socials and our Instagram as well. Also, we've just had one more final score come in, which I almost forgot about. Alfreton Town have beaten Leamington Spa 1-0, and that wraps it up for us. Thank you very much, guys. We've been Joe and everyone else in the studio. I can't afford to name everyone's name, so thank you very much. Cheers, guys. Bye.